Well, guys, we are back for another episode of the Liberal Asshole Show, episode 121. And what are today's topics?
Trump's first 2 weeks are a disaster. Joe Rogan is a brain-dead retard. Old man Trump blames DEI for DC plane crash. Elongated Muskgrave is a Nazi. Karen Christian's mad face bishop destroys Trump. Rave Dubin announces his grift is over. And Trump supporters get fucked over by Trump. Okay.
All right, what do we start with?
The complete disaster of Trump's first 2 weeks.
Of course. Did you expect otherwise?
Nope.
So, yeah.
Nope.
Oh, my God. The amount of shit that fucking moron has done in less than 2 weeks, I've already lost count of them. I was trying to remember them all the day so we could talk about them. I don't even know if Kyle's going to be able to cover them because this is like all the first day shit. But it's all really stupid and really idiotic. So, let's watch Kyle obliterate that orangutan once again with no effort.
All right, y'all, welcome to the show. We got a lot to dive into today, so in just a second, we have some of Trump's horrific
Kyle. Thank you very much.
In 6-degree weather. Everybody do me a big favor. Yeah, I'm very proud of that fact.
2 minutes, 2:14, Kyle.
Executive orders. Okay.
Yeah.
So this tweet here is from a few days ago, but it's got some important information
in there. It's genuinely at the point where I'm like, just make it its own separate video.
I'll let you know when I get the list of the total one, man. I'll let you know. But here's just some of what we have to look forward to. Ready? So first, declare an emergency at the border and issue a proclamation closing the border.
Which is stupid.
I find this one particularly interesting because Biden did the same thing with an executive order.
And you all say he didn't when we point out to you because you're a bunch of fucking liars and you're a bunch of morons.
Again, it just goes to show you how much political bullshit.
The population of the U.S. is now 500 million. It was only 360 million under Trump, and now it's ballooned to 500 million.
And also, there are probably a bunch of Jews too. Ah.
Can't. Of course, we can't do any of this without mentioning that.
Oh yeah,
there's a whole bunch of them are Nazis. So
speaking of which, there's some idiot I replied to on Twitter earlier today with like a whole bunch of followers and had 190,000 liked tweets saying that the Holocaust didn't happen. Of course. Go look at my Twitter if you want to see it later. Oh yeah, speaking of Twitter, apparently Elon Muskgrave did something because now I can't reply people with GIFs anymore like I used to be able to.
It's because the site is falling apart.
Or maybe
at the seams.
Or maybe elongated Muskgrave just couldn't handle the pressure of me torturing him for a few months, pointing out how wrong he is.
Probably. Oh, remember that. Remember, if you use the word cisgender, your posts are going to be limited for hate speech.
I know, because that happened to me after the election, and I add Elon, told him he was a Karen for it.
Out there's this idea on the right that
the
Democrats.
The first Karen act he did was being born. He wanted to ask his parents' manager about why he was born.
Imagine being triggered by cis.
Borders, which is just nonsense. It's always been nonsense. They don't support open
Ooh,
borders. They're actually pretty conservative on the border.
Trans fats.
And here's
Triggered,
Elon Musk. A Biden executive order. Okay, let's continue. They want to designate the cartels as a foreign terrorist organization.
Stupid, and I'm trying to use it as an excuse to invade Mexico, which is also very stupid.
This, ladies and gentlemen,
the entirety of Central America
is laying the groundwork for war with Mexico.
Pax Americana.
This is what we've been telling you about. We covered an article the other week on this show about how Trump and his top ally.
There's Confederate ancestors in Brazil. Don't you know that? Let's bring them back.
They're debating
I'm not joking
just how much should we do war with Mexico.
Jeez.
They're not, hey, should we not? It's, well, obviously we're going to do it. The question is how much.
Oh, say, Carl's a bit quiet now.
Debate is, do we do drone strikes? Do we do traditional airstrikes? Do we have boots on the ground to go after these terrorist organizations? A literal hot war with our
says no, we do
southern neighbor, who's one of our top trading partners.
Exactly.
And for the record, the Mexican government is like, we don't want this at all.
And that's all that matters.
Not agreeing to allow you to do a hot war with the drug cartels in our country, right? They don't care. Trump and his team doesn't care. Not in the slightest.
Because we want to do the Mexican-American War and finish the job.
Sir, I'm anti-war.
We took the one half, we want to take the other half now.
Kamala Harris is a warmonger. Liz Cheney is a warmonger.
Trump's the warmonger.
On day one, they're beginning the plans for war with Mexico. What happened, MAGA? What happened to all those people in MAGA who swore up and down that Trump is anti-war, that Trump's a peace candidate? Where are you now? I don't hear you. I don't see.
They're paid in psyops to love imperialism.
Why do you think they love...
They oppose imperialism, and they actually love it, and they want America to be the only country on the planet.
I mean, are you surprised? Because they love Pootler and Pooh Bear G.
You're being awfully quiet.
That does not surprise me.
And they're probably jealous that they can't do that in Age of History free, unlike me.
Because again, day one executive order, laying the groundwork for war with Mexico. That's what we're looking at here. That's astonishing, man. They continue. So other executive orders, they're going to sign remain in Mexico. Catch and release will be reinstated. The military will be directed to construct a new phase of the border wall.
You need congressional funding for that one, sir. You can't just build a wall, dumbass.
Trump is going to terminate Biden executive orders on energy drilling restrictions. Now, this one, look, we covered an article on this the other day.
But you know why they do it? Because that's why they're caught up.
To indicate that there's actually not an easy and quick way for Trump to undo what Biden did on that front. Biden, I believe,
just
on
like
his way
Obama
out,
when he left
625 million acres of federal land from oil drilling. Apparently, the way it works legally, I'm not a lawyer, but this is what I read about. They say
the Republicans always do.
The process for Trump to overturn that is a very long and arduous process. It's not as simple as he could just do an executive order to undo that. And so he might try, because this is Trump, and we'll see how the federal courts act, but it looks like he's going to attempt it. We'll see if it actually comes to fruition. I love this one. An executive order to return federal workers to in-person work. This is just classic, like, robber baron, asshole, right-wing capitalist shit, where they're like, I don't think anybody should be able to work from home ever because they're going to be too comfortable and they're going to be laying around in their PJs eating Cheetos and watching movies, and I need them to suffer when they're at work, so I'm going to make them come into the office.
Cry more.
Like, that's basically the idea here, right? That's basically the idea here. There's also, it's massively overstated just how many federal workers work from home anyway. We had Vivek Ramaswamy spreading massive misinformation on that front. But it's like a FU to people who get to work from home. It's just like a massive, hey, fuck you, we want you to suffer. That's what this is. I love this one. Through executive order, Trump is going to pause all offshore wind leases.
Which is stupid.
Because for those of you who don't know, he has a war on windmills. I believe he likes to say that windmills cause
conspiracy theory about windmills, and there are probably several conspiracy theories that don't even exist yet that he made up in his head.
Windmills that lead to like bird graveyards. That one might actually be kind of true. He does this whole bit about how bad wind energy is, and he's like, wind, you have the wind energy, and you say, darling, I'd like to watch the TV, but I can't because the wind isn't blowing. He does this whole like stand-up routine about that. But again, it just goes to show you, this is the guy who says climate change is a Chinese hoax. He doesn't believe in climate change. And he's taking one of the kinds of renewable energy that we have to get us off of fossil fuels. He's going, fuck that. I don't want any wind energy. He also, another reason he doesn't like them, because he thinks they're an eyesore for his golf courses.
Boo-hoo.
He has some golf courses in like Scotland, and there's windmills.
He sounds like Andy Harris, who cried about windmills off the coast of Ocean City, out in the Atlantic. Boo fucking who?
And all the people that were whinging about windmills off the coast of Victoria.
Next, they're gonna probably find a way to make an excuse of how, see, this is why the Earth is flat.
Off the shore. And he hated the way they looked. He always hated the way they looked. And as a result of that, he's had a war on windmills this entire time.
Yeah. One of the flat earthers who went saw the 24-hour sun is no longer a flat earther.
What? They actually been convinced? Oh, buddy.
Yeah, there's a few that have. In fact, one of the biggest, Jaron, is no longer a flat earther.
Told you, people.
They
It's not that
continue.
hard.
End DEI hiring practices in the federal government. Merit only.
Which is stupid because it already is merit only, you
Merit,
dumb fuck.
yes.
And by the way, we're going to
And
get
you know that corporations are going to use this to fire black people, LGBT people, and women.
Yeah, and also we're going to get to something involving that in a couple topics. So, and it's all Trump's fault too.
Withdraw from the Paris Climate Agreement. Again,
Which is
here we go,
stupid.
bro.
Of course. Yep.
Like, did you not notice the other day that fucking Los Angeles was on fire? Downtown LA
was
was
DEI,
engulfed in
Kyle,
flames.
don't you
Did
know?
you not notice that?
Everything
Did you not notice
is
the massive
that
increase
Jewish DEI program, according to all these right-wing
in
grifters.
extreme weather
Oh,
events?
speaking of
on
right-wing grifters, did you hear that Candace Owens called dinosaurs fake and gay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Imagine thinking dinosaurs are fake. We have fossils, you idiot.
And gay.
Oh my
And
god.
gay.
It's like she's never seen
The
Jurassic Park
queen of the
apparently either.
grifters.
She probably thinks dinosaurs only exist in Jurassic Park.
And you will base this now. Have you not noticed that? Have you not noticed every single study
Next, she'll deny that they have feathers too.
comes out and says like, hey,
Yeah.
climate change is
She
actually
thinks, remember that she thinks it's a satanic Jewish antichrist conspiracy.
worse than what we thought the worst case scenario could possibly be. And Trump looks at that and he's like, yeah, let's pull out of the Paris Climate Agreement, which, by the way, we just eclipsed what was supposed to be the limit for the increase in temperature in the Paris Climate Agreement. Like, I don't know about you guys,
Yep.
but I'm starting to fear we are cooked McCooktington on the issue of climate change, the likes of which we couldn't possibly have imagined not that long ago.
This is your
Right, like, we
ultimate
desperately
reminder that Venus... Okay, it's not so strong now. There is a chance that Venus was always the hellhole that it is now, but it's more likely that Venus wasn't always the 465 degrees Celsius, 800 degree Fahrenheit hellhole that it is now.
Wasn't it theorized that Venus used to have like water and all that, like Earth and
Yeah,
Mars?
possibly. Yep, possibly.
Yep.
And then it slowly evaporated due to a mix of Venus's slow rotation and the sun gradually brightening. Then once it got too hot, there was too much much water vapor and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. The temperature just got too high, runaway evaporation of the oceans, and that was it.
Imagine not knowing
It's
about.
hypothesized that's probably what's going to happen to Earth in about 1 to 2 billion years.
And then maybe Mars will become Earth then eventually.
technology that
It will for a time.
Yep. And then
But
eventually.
again, that's so close to
And then eventually.
when the sun reaches the end of the main sequence that Mars will probably only be habitable for about 500 million years.
And then all the
And then
moons
it'll
around
get to
Jupiter
what
and
it's
Saturn
on.
will be good.
Yep. Yeah.
For only a temporary
possibly.
until the sun becomes a white dwarf.
Yeah, for
Removes carbon from the
for about 1 billion years, Titan might actually be our final refuge before we have to leave the solar system.
Are you
completely.
Are you ready to swim in oceans of methane?
Oh no! By the time the sun goes red giant, when the sun goes red giant, all that methane will have been evaporated. And remember that the bedrock on Titan is actually water ice. So we'll be swimming in liquid water.
And Europa as
Well,
well.
also remember that Enceladus Enceladus will actually may already have primitive life in its oceans. Same with Europa and Ganymede.
And then finally all that ice on Europa will be melted too.
Yep.
sphere.
Europa
Like, we need it.
and Europa and Ganymede.
You know, and he's just gonna speed it up. He's just gonna speed it up. And remember, he takes a tremendous amount of money from the fossil fuel industry.
But
so he is
Trump
bought
says he's not
by
corrupt, and
ExxonMobil
Trump are
and
saying the same
Chevron.
thing too.
He's a cock to the industry, and the
He
industry
was
will continue to
literally
destroy our
born corrupt.
But they said the opposite.
climate.
You're
And
saying
he'll
we're
keep
retarded?
getting those checks. So that is just brazen corruption.
You're saying we're jealous?
Another executive order.
Yes.
Order every agency to remove all federal actions increasing costs for Americans via deregulation.
Which is stupid.
What?
Yeah, that's
Because
very
regulations
stupid.
I
are
think it's just
based.
like some sort
Get
of
over
executive
it.
order to just put the deregulation on steroids. That's what that sounds like to me. suspend security clearances for the 51 officials who lied about the Hunter Biden 2020 laptop story.
I never even heard
And
about this, but
establish
that's
a Doge
silly
hiring
too.
freeze. And that's just the beginning. The Doge hiring freeze, basically what they're saying there is the federal government's not going to hire anybody else. Total hiring freeze in the federal government. Remember, they want...
And Doge doesn't exist, people, so it doesn't fucking matter. You need congressional approval to make it happen.
remember that the dog associated with the Doge meme died May last year.
Or do you think they care? They probably laugh at it.
No.
want to destroy the regulatory state.
Because they're evil.
The administrative state is going gone under this
probably
They
administration.
worship the
There's no doubt
devil.
They probably wouldn't want to eat it like in China or South Korea.
about it. Say goodbye to the EPA. Say goodbye to, like, the FDA. Say goodbye to
Say
the...
goodbye to all
education.
governmental institutions.
Like, they have
that
that
are there to
laundry
help
list. We
people,
want to get rid
and
of
say
all
hello
of these
to a 100% military and police budget designed to genocide the minorities.
Don't worry, we'll establish new agencies that force women to have kids and gays to be executed. Don't you know? So much for
And
so
also
much
to
for
tear
small
apart interracial couples, and also to lower the age of consent to sex.
and get rid of the Jews.
Yep.
So much for small government, am I right, people?
agencies. And they also want to the remaining agencies that exist, they will do everything they can to handcuff those agencies. We've seen it before.
You're a moron if you
We'll see it
support
again
any
under
of these
Republicans
things,
and under
people.
Trump. But the classic
Yep.
move is like, hey, what if we put an oil lobbyist as the head of the EPA? If we don't eliminate it, which they're going to try to do, let's put an oil lobbyist at the head of the EPA so that there basically is no cop on the beat, right? Same thing at the SEC and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau
They'll
and
do
the
that with
FTC.
everything.
Why don't we
And-
put in
I'm
little...
surprised they haven't done this yet. They haven't put a hit out on Anthony Fauci.
corrupt gremlins from those industries, put them in to regulate those industries where all their friends are, where they made all their money, where they'll keep cashing checks from. And you just let the robber barons run wild. That's what we're entering, guys. We're entering a new robber baron age. This is a new gilded
And
age.
all you
There's no
Trumpsters
ifs, ands, or
fault
buts
for
about
vote
it.
for that dipshit.
What we're going to witness
Yep.
And
is...
all the consequence you have to deal with, you deserve it.
Because they didn't. Because Joe Biden wants to live out the last years of his life in Gaza.
billionaires and oligarchs looting the treasury and screwing you over till the cows come home. That's what we're going to see. That's what we're going to see. You know, and they'll cut taxes for themselves. They'll give themselves more corporate welfare checks and subsidies. They'll deregulate so that there's, again, no cop on the beat making sure that they're not screwing people over. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the best government agency, which returned $19 billion to Americans who were defrauded by big financial institutions. They are going to handcuff that agency and destroy that, just like he did in his first term. This is what he did in his first term. Made that agency useless. Going to do it again this time. And so, and let's also be clear about this. A lot of these executive orders, this is the beginning of Project 2025. The thing that Trump said, I have nothing to do with that. I don't even know what that is.
Because you're
I have
a
nothing to do
liar.
with that. Never heard of it before. Don't know anything. Oh, did I hire
Because
dozens
Trump
of people
and
from
Trumpsters
Project
are always
2025 in my
fucking
last
liars.
administration? Did I do that?
Yep.
Well, I don't know what
Exactly.
it is.
Morons,
I don't know why they
too.
keep saying it. I don't know what it is.
Yep.
A lot of these executive orders are part and
which I'm
parcel
going to do
of
for the
Project
next 4
2025.
years, and you're going to sit
It's
there
the
and deal
exact
with it.
same ideology being
Yep.
implemented.
Ridicule.
Just like he's trying to hire a bunch of
You
people
all should be
who were
ashamed of
part of
yourselves for
Project
being
2025.
dipshits.
So buckle up, man.
Around and now you're finding out.
If we are
just
literally
how
talking
evil these people are.
Fuck around, find out. How about that one?
about on day one, an executive order that basically greenlights war with Mexico. Do you have any idea how long of a 4 years this is going to be? I'm already fucking
Very
tired.
long.
I'm already fed up. And again, we are just getting started. In some ways, the first week or so that a new president is in there, in some ways they can do the most damage in those 4 days. Because that's when they do everything they can by executive order. That's when they do all of it. And basically what he's going to do is reverse every single based thing that Biden did, he's going to reverse. Right? Like, for example,
Yep.
Biden on his way
That's
out increased Social Security payments for
That's
millions
what
of
they had.
Americans. Right? There was this weird law or weird provision or rule which made it so that if you have other sources of income, like federal income, for example, that if that's like deducted from your
gone.
Social Security payments, you would have a lower Social Security payment. Biden on his way out said, and I think it impacts like 3 million people, some really high number. Biden was like, no, we're going to increase the Social Security payments. We're not doing that stupid shit anymore.
Thank you, Biden.
I guarantee you Trump's going to try to kill that. I guarantee you.
Because that actually helps my family, so cool.
The overtime thing. Trump already killed that. A MAGA judge
Yeah, but
already
also
killed that.
remember
Biden on
they're
his...
going to they're going to cut the social safety net
way out said,
completely.
hey, let's give 8 million people a raise and give them overtime pay. A MAGA judge said, wrong, we're not going to do that, and they killed it. So, like, again, all the good things Biden did
because
on
they
his way
want
out, all the
to
executive orders,
completely eliminate
buckle up, bro.
social security,
It is all being
and then
reversed.
go around,
It is all
get a
being
list of
reversed in
everyone
real
who's on
time.
social
Hey,
security
yo.
and put a bullet in their brains.
Good luck trying to do that to me and my parents. So yeah, what do you guys say about that? Trump being a fucking moron, an absolute embarrassment and disgrace.
It's not surprising. We knew that he was going to do this, that he was going to reverse everything Biden did, because that's what the Republicans do.
And also, Kyle didn't cover all the things that he's done since. Like, Trump, of course, reversed a policy that lowered prescription costs. So now, prescriptions are going to go up massively, which, of course, affects my dad, you fucking idiots. So if my dad can't get his medication or whatever and dies because of it, I'm going to blame every single one of you that voted for Trump. So, fuck you, you're a murderer if that happens. Hope you enjoy that, dipshits. Also, remember he said, we're gonna end the war, the Russia-Ukraine war in one day. Oh, gee, well, look at that. 2 weeks later. Hasn't done it yet because he was a fucking liar. And neither side was gonna end it.
Of course he lies about everything.
Like we told you wasn't gonna happen. So shut the fuck up. We are always right. You are always wrong. And that's the end of it.
Receive more dilate L plus ratio.
And then, of course, the other day where... payments for Medicaid and all that were shut down for several hours and all that. That also helps me and my family too, along with my parents with Medicare. So yeah, he's just evil. He's actually trying to do stuff that harms me. So all of you watching, that would affect me and my family. So if you care about that and me as a buddy, you never support Trump ever. You understand? Never, ever, 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 ever. You never support conservatives, period. And Trump also did something else very stupid, which we're going to cover in a little bit, that he's trying to make excuses for DEI and all that crap about. But
remember, that's all he's got to blame, remember?
And remember,
he blames everything on it.
And guys,
DEI.
we're going to have to once again bring this up now. DEI is the new way of saying the N-word. That's the reality of it. They just want to say the N-word, but they can't get away with it. But DEI, they can. So I don't want to hear this crap anymore. Stop making excuses. Trump sucks. It's not debatable. Accept it and don't support Republicans ever again. So now, on to the next topic.
Joe Rogan is a brain-dead retard.
Oh, we get to laugh for a moment? Oh, goody. So yeah, and Joe Rogan became so stupid that he actually broke Kyle. and of course, Kyle, like every video, like the last several months has now been, I've been broken, this and that. Dang, Kyle, you're a masochist if you keep getting broken over everything. We expect from morons like him.
Well, I think we figured out a few years ago that to some degree Kyle is a masochist. I mean, you've got to be a bit of a masochist if you're going to be a full-time political YouTuber.
Especially when you deal with Joe Rogan's dumbass who cried about he hates Tim Walz because he lied about something that's so irrelevant, and also he supported a policy that should not be a big deal whatsoever, but of course it's a big deal to Rogan. So let's we and Kyle make fun of him, shall we?
All right, guys. I think it happened. I think Rogan has finally broke me. I think I finally snapped. I don't know how much longer I can deal with shit like this, bro. I really don't know. Here's a clip that went kind of viral on Twitter, 1.2 million views. And the clip, my understanding of it, I haven't watched the full thing yet, but I saw some of the text. It's just him shitting on Tim Walz. Shitting on Tim Walz and talking about how much he's opposed to liars in politics.
Are you jealous about that 500 million damage coming your way?
All right, here we go. Let's listen, and then...
He probably is. Oh, he definitely is.
Tim
Imagine being bad at Pokemon like furry retard.
Cocksucker, if that guy got into...
We're 2 seconds in. That Tim Walz cocksucker.
How is he a cocksucker?
Like if Kamala died and Tim Walz, Tampon Tim, was our fucking
Tampon
president.
Tim!
You see, Joe Rogan is a far-right fucktard. Of course he's going to say stupid shit like that.
And Rogan, if Kamala became president and she died and Walz became president, good! We would have a progressive again power. Let's go! That would be based.
This country would be that weirdo who puts tampons in the boys' room and
Big fucking deal. Also, I think Kyle.
Also,
I think
when it comes to tampons and pads, if you want to be a good boyfriend, you have those spare things for when your girlfriend's period starts suddenly.
But do you think conservatives have?
Short.
Do you think conservatives have empathy though, and like women?
Of course they don't. Of course they don't. They're stupid.
And they're misogynist.
Of course they are. They're every negativist in the book.
And then, of course, I brought up the argument: what if someone is trans but hasn't transitioned to being a man yet, so they have to deal with periods still? Maybe it'll be a valid reason to bring that there. But I was trying to say is too. I think Kyle brought this up in his video or somewhere, or someone brought this up, that this tampon story might not even be true.
That doesn't surprise me.
So it potentially they're crying about something that's not even real. But you know what? Here's the reality of it. Even if it is real, guess what? Big deal. I want you to tell me right now, what's the big deal of putting tampons in the men's bathroom? I'll tell you, there is no big deal. Get over it. Fucking Karens.
what about our joy?
That was a lie. That whole story was a fucking lie.
See what I mean?
See, this goes to show you.
And again, if it's real, who cares? Who cares? There's no valid reason to cry about tampons in the men's bathroom. Get over it, you fucking Karens.
Diet is fucking abysmal.
Karens and
like
Kevins.
all he does is look at right-wing Twitter and listen to right-wing podcasts and thinks that these people are serious. And
They're
they care
stupid.
About accuracy and they care about facts.
No, they're serious, all right? They're seriously stupid.
They're stupid and all grifters.
I'm super serial.
That story was debunked literally
We're on
within
the
a
hunt
day.
for man bear
that story
pig,
was
like
debunked.
Al Gore.
You know what he actually did? He got tampons in the girls' bathroom. Also known as just a good policy. The whole thing about it's in the boys' bathroom, it was totally complete and utter right-wing horseshit
boyfriend
made up
or
to try to do
transgender.
what? Demagogue and do anti-trans fear-mongering. That's all it is. That's all it is. And still, here we are, literally months later. He didn't even bother to look it up. He
because
didn't even bother
he's a
to fact check
moron.
it. He didn't even bother to try to go to
because
some
he's had
neutral
one too
observer.
many hits to the head in
He
his
just ran with
life.
it.
And probably too much pot he smokes
the worst
too.
Case of
Even though he supports the people that want to ban pot. Rogan, I thought you're a pothead. So maybe you shouldn't support Republicans who hate pot.
Nation bias I've ever seen. He just has online right-wing brainworms, and if something fits in with
they went from RFK
the
Jr.
narrative
to him.
he likes and agrees with, that's it. He's done. That's why there's been 47 examples within the past year or two of him saying something ridiculous, and Jamie's got to be like, actually, Joe, that's not true. I just looked it up. It just happened the other day. He said that, so he said homeless people started the massive fires in
now
LA,
it's homeless
and then he
people's
goes,
fault for LA fires.
Of
Okay.
course. And
Had a
remember
UN
that
debit
the
card.
old turds believe that too.
Let's see. DEI, women, gays, homeless. What's next? Ukrainians?
Jews.
and 5 cell
Democrats.
phones.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Forgot about that. Biden.
Yep.
Canadians and Mexicans, remember?
If you didn't have a little thing in the back of your mind in that moment saying, you know what, it doesn't sound quite right. If you didn't have even that bare minimum.
When you hear anything these dipshit Republicans say, you laugh and mock them because they're morons. Like we do. We mock them instantly because what they say is stupid.
Of a governor in your brain.
And wrong.
I'm sorry, you're just
always wrong on its face.
And, yeah, always wrong. Like we say, we are always right. You idiots are always wrong.
Bro, you are just immensely cooked. Fall for every fucking right-wing dumbass story from the outrage
You're more
machine.
of a loser than the 2008 Lions and the 2017 Browns who went 0-16.
You're more of a loser. You're more of a loser than someone using 6 gastrodon against Cynthia.
Like furry retard?
Yep.
And under level too.
Yeah.
Why can't I beat that MILF?
Just turned into a Fox News grandpa. That's what's happened. Doesn't care about the truth. Doesn't care about reality. feed me my narrative. I love.
And I don't care if you admit that you're an
liberals
idiot,
and
Rogan.
Democrats are
You're
stupid.
an idiot, and we're gonna mock you for it,
MAGA's so
dumbass.
based, bro.
He's a complete pathological liar. Like a complete liar. Lied about being in Tiananmen Square. Lied about being a fucking head coach of a football team.
Oh my God.
Oh, you're making a big deal about him being a football coach now. Are you serious? Are you that sad? That's to be
Joe,
something
you
you
endorse
guys
Donald
like.
Trump.
Damn, you... Dude,
Supposed to be, but remember they actually hate everything.
Damn.
Everyone.
Imagine hating football. Oof. Man, I guess you conservatives aren't going to look forward to the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. Oh, that's right. Taylor Swift's there because the Chiefs are back in, so of course you're going to hate it.
You endorsed literally the most prolific liar in modern American history. And here you are virtue signaling.
30,000 lies Trump did in his first term, people. So, guess what? We'll double up to 60,000. How about that?
About how much you hate liars and you love honesty. And by the way, every single one of Tim Wall's claims that he acts like, bro, it's a fucking lie, bro, it's just a lie, bro. The Tiananmen Square one, yeah, he was there. He was there for the pro-democracy protests in China. It was either, I forget if it was a month before or a month after or a week before or a week after.
Who cares?
He was there
I
while they were
don't.
going on, but wasn't there for that exact moment. And he acts
Big
like,
deal.
oh my, this is absurd.
You expect someone to remember something from 35 years ago just like that?
Liar. The coach thing? He was an assistant coach, not a head coach. Oh, is that disqualifying, Joe? Is that just? But it's not disqualifying to lie for
Look, you might hate. Look, you guys might hate football, but doesn't mean we do. We love football.
4 years straight and say you won an election when you didn't fucking
Even
win
if
an election.
motorsport's more my thing, it's still interesting.
Hey, you all can go cry and not watch the Super Bowl. I am. How about that one?
It's not disqualifying to do a fake elector slate.
Next, you'll cry. Next, they'll start crying about how monster trucks suck.
Tell people internally that you knew you lost the election while publicly saying, I won the election. So that's not disqualifying. What was the number? You guys look it up. You post it in the comment section below. Trump told it was either 32,000 lies or 36,000 lies in his first term. Remember that?
30,000 too many.
And
How
even
about
if you
that,
say,
people?
hey, some of these are not lies and maybe there's a gray area and let's give him the benefit of the doubt or whatever. Okay, I always say, cut it in half. He told 15,000 lies. Still the most prolific liar in American history. Joe Rogan sat there.
Yes,
while
because it's his job to lie.
That's more than
every
a dozen.
second of every day.
That's more than a dozen lies every single day, averaged out. You idiots.
Trump said to him, "I never said lock her up about Hillary. I never said lock her up."
He probably already broke. He already probably told 30,000 lies in the first 10 days already.
Say whoa, and they would say lock her up. Meanwhile,
how many words
did
he
saying it like
how many
100
words
times.
did he speak those first 10 days? Because that's how many lies he told.
Then again, he also is a brain-dead retard when he talks, so no one can understand what he says either.
I'm like, fucking, of course he did. Of course he said that. Of course he said that. You let Trump lie to your face relentlessly.
Because
for fucking 3 hours
idiot.
straight, and you sat there giggling like a schoolgirl, you bitch.
You're a moron.
He's all, Tim Walz, bro.
Rogan?
Tim Walz, biggest liar, bro.
Yeah, I thought some of that was just weird and how avoidable it was.
100% avoidable, but pathological liars, people that are habitual liars, they just lie all
Like
the time.
Trump.
Everything.
Who does that sound like, yo?
Exactly.
Who does that
And
sound
like
like?
you, Joe Rogan.
The guy he fucking endorsed.
Like Trump, you
I mean, it's
idiot.
just embarrassing. Do I even need to continue with this clip?
There's a way you can do it where it's sort of like no one's ever going to know. And there's things you can fib about that are just that you find out in 5 seconds. So you wonder about making the call to embellish something that a person could answer on their phone.
Right. Instantly.
Like almost as you're saying it.
Yeah.
Again, having this conversation, meanwhile, he endorsed Trump, is the most like, he literally has zero ability to do introspection. And that's kind of hilarious because there was a time when everybody thought he was a
Because
very
he doesn't have the
introspective
mental
dude.
capacity for
Right?
it
Like, oh,
because
he
he's
seems so down
brain
to earth.
dead.
He seems to be
I
self-critical,
guess that's what happens
etc.
when you spoke too much
Look at
pot
this.
as well.
This humiliating. Now,
yes.
what's my main bone to pick with Rogan on this issue? Well, first of all, remember when he compared Tim Walz to Kim Jong-un in the third we covered
Yeah, I remember that.
in that segment? That nearly broke.
Yeah, I remember that.
Rogan, that's Trump, buddy. Trump's more close
Yes.
to Kim Jong-un and Putler and Pooh Beargee. Get over it. And you support
exactly.
it because you're a moron. Stupid
Yeah.
fucking
And
dipshit.
you're also, and remember, you're also in the part. He's also part of the authoritarian spectrum where left and right doesn't actually exist.
Just like Tim Walz said about elongated Muskgrave, all you two do is jump around and skipping like a dipshit.
Broke me. Why? Because Joe loves to talk about Tim Walz. He loves to talk about Tim Walz. Let me ask you a question. Do you think Joe can name even one policy that Tim Walz did in Minnesota? Can he name one policy Tim Walz did in Minnesota? I'll wait.
High school. He wants to turn the U.S. into a Vavazilla.
Here's a guy, Rogan, endorsed Bernie Sanders and said the reason I'm endorsing Bernie Sanders is because I agree with the policies that he puts out there. I want free college.
You can't go from Bernie to Trump, you morons.
Yeah, I like these things, right? This is what he says. Likes Bernie Sanders because of his policies. Doesn't know the first fucking thing about Tim Walz and his record. Because if he
Walz is Bernie, just younger and more aggressive.
What Tim Walz is the most.
So if you like Bernie, you have to like Walz by default. People, there's no way around it.
Is the best governor in the country, and it's not even close.
That's why I love him so much. Please run in 2028.
Universal free school breakfast for kids. Do you like that, Joe? Does that sound good? Does that sound positive?
But the DNC won't because they don't want to exist anymore.
Because they want kids to starve.
He also did universal free school lunch for kids.
Because
does that sound good? Have you said anything positive about that? Do you even know that happened? Of course you don't know that happened. You know what else he did in Minnesota, Joe? Legalized weed. You know the thing that you talked about for like a fucking decade on your show and said like this was your number one policy issue? It's clearly the one you were most passionate about. You kept coming back to it.
Oh, wait, you don't
He
care
legalized
about weed.
You didn't say a goddamn word about that. It'd be one thing if you're like, hey, I don't really like him, but like credit where it's due, here are these things that were actually good. He didn't even do that. He didn't even do that. He's just completely and utterly fucking full of shit now. Doesn't have the first fucking clue what he's talking about.
He never had
Tim
because
Walz
he
did
admits he's a
carbon-free electricity by 2040.
He's admitted that he's
tax
brain
rebates
dead
to the working class up to
retard and he doesn't actually know what he's talking about.
$150,000 a year or less.
And that he loves
Just cash
Donald
right in
Trump
people's
and that he's a
pockets.
grifter.
He did 12 weeks paid family leave and 12 weeks paid sick leave.
Honestly, do you get the suspicion that Joe Rogan and Candace Owens might be wanting to hook up behind the scenes as Queen and King grifter?
Oh, shipping them like Crystal and Kyle we did. Hey, we were right on that one, Ed. So maybe we were on something there.
Therapy because he knows it's a fucking scam.
Just like
he did red flag laws for guns, so that if somebody's out there like,
I'm going to
go to school tomorrow, you're legally allowed to say,
of
fuck
course,
you are, and take their gun.
Because they don't believe in consent.
He did automatic voter
Because
registration.
remember, they want to reduce the age of consent to 6 as well.
Couches, you get no consent.
College for people making under $80,000 a year. He banned the PFAS,
couch.
the forever chemicals. That's something that if it was RFK who did it, Rogan would be singing his praise. Oh my God, this guy's amazing. He banned the forever.
Oh, and by the way, Rogan, since you're in Texas, you do know weed is illegal in Texas, pal. You know that?
Yeah.
If you care so much about weed, how about you go back to California where weed is legal recreationally and medical? How about that one, dipshit?
Chemicals, he's standing up.
Oh, and like Kyle said,
remember, he's a grifter who doesn't care what the fuck he's on about.
Yep. And hey, just like you hate Walz, Base Shuckle Walz legalized weed in Minnesota. How about that one?
To
Stay
the
fucking
evil
mad.
corporations that
You
are trying to
don't care
poison
about
us.
weed as
Jim
you
Walz
do.
does it. He doesn't even
He
fucking
doesn't
know
care
about it.
about
At this
anything
point, even if
except
you told him that he
lining
did it,
his-
he still wouldn't give the guy
except
credit
the
because he's
lining
fucking
his
fundamentally
pockets
incapable because he has
and
MAGA
being the
brainworms.
king grifter.
Tim Walz also increased K-12 school funding by $2.2 billion. He did sectoral bargaining for
That's
nurses.
why we love you, Base Shuckle Walz.
He was also in Congress. When he was in Congress, he voted
And
against
Joe
outsourcing
Rogan
deals.
wants
He
to
voted against
get rid of anything that helps people and install everything that makes people's lives worse.
Base Shuckle Walz is like Thomas. You can't ever hate him.
Wall Street bailouts.
Exactly.
As governor, he codified Roe v. Wade. He did right to repair. I mean, the list goes on and on. He raised the minimum wage for small businesses, raised taxes on multinational corporations. On foreign policy, here's one. On foreign policy, he opposed the Iraq War. He fought the neocons twice when they tried to bomb Syria. He opposed sending weapons to Saudi Arabia. Again, all these things, if it was a Republican who did it, if it was a MAGA Republican, he'd be singing their praises. He'd be singing their praises. But since it's Tim Walz, doesn't know, doesn't care,
because
never looked into his policy record, never looked into his history. He just gets a vibe from him that he doesn't like.
How can you have any negative vibes for base Shuckle Walls? You're supposed to have nothing but positive, like, I'm going to vote for him no matter what, like me.
Oh, bro, he's a liar. I saw all this right-wing bullshit about him, so it must be true.
Based.
So, yeah, he put tampons in the ground. Literally, I guarantee you this is the reality. I guarantee you, like, the first thing he heard about Tim Walz was the tampons in boys' bathroom thing. That was it. From then on, you poison the well.
Big deal.
Right? Every time he sees this guy.
Again, people, what's the big deal? There is no big deal. And also, Kyle pointed out, it's not even true. Even if it was true, who cares? Get over it. I don't care, and neither should you. Stop crying like Karens.
He thinks, what a fucking psycho, what a weirdo. And so, his perception is just tainted. And so everything from then on out,
being mad about
he was
having
trying to believe every negative thing
baby.
ever about Tim Walz, all the right-wing smear stories. I'm sure he believes the bro stolen valor bullshit, even though, Tim Walz achieved the higher ranking, but he didn't fill out the paperwork, and he was leaving the military, and so technically he didn't achieve the higher rank, but I'm sure he thinks,
I don't care.
Literally every one of the lies that Tim Walz supposedly told, they're all like slight embellishments where when you read the specifics of it, you go, no, okay, that's kind of understandable. I could see how he could say
unlike
like
Trump, who lies about everything.
He just shamelessly and relentlessly makes things up, says the exact opposite of the truth.
Like he did in the next topic we're going to cover, too.
Guys, okay, do you want to talk about pathological lies? This is always one of my favorite Trump lies. You guys ready for this? And this came out in 2015 or 2016 when he first ran. Donald Trump, when it was like the 1980s and the 1990s, he, of course, is like a celebrity-obsessed little weasel, and he was trying to make a name for himself. So he would call those tabloid magazines, and he would pretend to be his own publicist. He would say, this is John Barron. I'm Trump's publicist. And you know what? All these women are all over Trump. Madonna loves Trump. All these famous, beautiful women, they love Trump. They want to date Trump. All of them want to date Trump.
Very sad.
And what happened was one of the tabloid writers decided, I know Trump is calling me and pretending to be his own publicist, and this is super weird, so I'm going to record a phone call with this person. Recorded the phone call. That tape was released in 2015 or 2016. Clear as day. This is Donald Trump pretending to be his own publicist, saying how much women love Trump. That tape was played for Trump. Trump goes,
you can't even pay
women
to like you,
I don't know what you're talking about. Literally the most obvious thing in the world, that's Donald Trump. I don't know what you're talking about. That's not me. That's like when you want to talk about pathological liar. Literally stone cold caught in a brazen lie. Still, nope, not. That's not me. That's not me. This is fake news. This is fake news. This is fake news.
Because you're a moron.
And that's who Rogan is.
Your existence is fake news.
All of the over 30,000 lies told by Donald Trump, the guy who tried to steal the last fucking election. 91 criminal charges against him. If Joe Biden had 91 criminal charges, do you think that'd be a deal breaker for Joe vis-a-vis Joe Biden? I think so. With Trump, totally overlooks it. Why? He likes the vibe.
There is no good vibes about
no
Trump.
Filter.
Is
Trump is kind of like a stand-up comic. It sounds like he doesn't give a fuck.
He's a
right?
retard.
Like,
how about that
this
one?
Is it. Right?
How is that for political incorrectness, people?
There's one thing I cannot stand, bro. I cannot stand Tim Walz.
They're not politically correct. They're just incorrect.
They're like the principal in South Park. Ya pese, brah?
This guy is basically Bernie Sanders as governor. Right? That's what he is. Genuinely and sincerely cares about the people of Minnesota and delivered for them. Genuinely and sincerely cares about the people of the United States and would have delivered for them too. People like Joe hear one fucking bullshit lie about tampons in boys' bathrooms, loses his mind,
and now
smears him relentlessly,
they literally make up 50,000 lies about him.
And that's the end of it.
30,000.
Right? I can't help you. I can't help you, Joe.
They make 300,000.
If you can't take yes for an answer when good people come along with good policies who actually want to fix things, I can't help you. If you're willing to fall for every fucking right-wing smear, every fake news
because
bullshit
the right
story,
always lies, people.
I can't help you.
Yeah,
you
only
instantly
so much I can
laugh
do,
and dismiss
right?
them like we do.
And so here we are. God, the fucking people who hate Tim Walz are the worst. They're just the fucking worst.
Like dumb leftists, remember.
He's lost his mind. He's lost his mind. Joe's fucking lost his mind. There's no hope. He's going, gone. And believe me, just like to this point, you never heard him say a single fucking thing about any actual policy Tim Walz did. You'll never hear him say it. You'll never hear him say it. And from now until the end of time, it'll be fucking bullshit smears about tampons, and every time Tim Walz is brought up, that's what'll come to his head from now until
Big deal.
Tampons in boys' bathroom. It won't be 12 weeks paid family leave, 12 weeks paid sick leave, free school breakfast and lunch for kids,
base.
higher minimum wage. That won't come up. That won't come up. Tampons in boys' bathrooms will come up. Hey, y'all, do me a...
Again, imagine caring about tampons in men's bathroom. Big fucking deal, you whiny Karens. I don't care, and neither should you. Oh my god. So what you guys say about Rogan being a fucking moron as always?
Yeah. Oh, of course he is. Like, he's a brain-dead retard, so of course he sees one lie about Tim Walz, believes it, and then he's like, all right, not only am I going to look for all the other lies about him, I'm going to make up lies about him myself because I'm a moron and I hate everyone.
And that's why we're going to make fun of you for the next 4 years and forever. How about that one?
Yep. We'll even make you We'll even mock you beyond the grave. Give about a week for the fake mourning to be done, and then we'll start mocking him for dying.
All right. So now on to the next topic.
That is, old man Trump blames DEI for everything.
Okay, of course, now we're back to not laughing again. So, of course, this is recently, a few nights ago, there was a plane crash in D.C. A plane crashed into a helicopter, and everyone died. Like, over 60 people died and all that. And, of course, it's too early to say anything about, but, of course, conservatives will never wait on anything. They gotta blame everything for it, like Trump blamed DEI for it. But, of course, the reality is, the accident happened because Trump fired a whole bunch of people that FAA and air traffic controllers. So air traffic controllers were understaffed, so people couldn't pay attention to it. So in the end, it's his fault the plane crash happened. But are Republicans going to acknowledge that? Oh hell no!
Never, ever.
And what does he do?
Blame everything on DEI. Remember?
Yep. Because it's y'all's N-word now. Just like critical race theory, just like woke, just like BLM, as Nina Turner pointed out a tweet the other day. That's all it is for you guys. Fucking morons at always, because you're a bunch of Karens. So, of course, this video might be a little outdated from Kyle's, because I think it's from 2 days ago, but we'll see what he says on it. So let's go watch that.
All right, y'all, I can't stay away. I'm off the air for 5 seconds.
Also, I forgot to mention, too, happy B-Day, Kyle. Enjoy being 37.
Happy birthday, Kyle. So, as I'm sure...
Enjoy getting blown by Crystal later.
Well, you know, and you've already seen
maybe even she'll ride
helicopter crash at Reagan Airport in Washington, D.C. It appears like there are no survivors.
Sandra will be jealous
too. The helicopter collided with the plane when they were about 300 feet from landing, and they all plunged into the freezing Potomac River. They've been able to recover some of the bodies, but as I said, it looks like nobody survived. Just a horrible situation all around. You know, it looks, to the layman's eye, it looks like, man, this was totally preventable. It looks like that.
Which it was.
It looks like the helicopter just flew directly into the plane. Yep. It almost looked like it was on purpose, even though there's zero evidence that it was on purpose, but... just horrible video if you haven't seen it. I'm not going to show it here, but, you know, I'm sure many of you have seen it by now already. Well, anyway, so this happened yesterday. And today, so Trump commented on it last night. It was a classic. It sounded like a third grader talking about the issue. He was like, not good. This is not good. Should have been a fight, but not good. Well, he comes out today and does a press conference on this issue. And this was abysmal. Like, it just... absolutely pathetic, just complete and utter lack of leadership. So the main thrust of what he says in this press conference is blame diversity for this plane crash.
Okay, Charlie Kirk.
I wish I was kidding. Here's one of the things he said, quote,
remember it was around this time last year when we made fun of Charlie Kirk crying about, I would not trust a black pilot in a plane I'm flying in, because you're a racist.
Of course you wouldn't.
Do you want to point out that various articles...
You also know he wouldn't trust a woman either.
Mm-hmm. Or LGBT. Because you're a Karen, and a racist, and a misogynist, and a homophobe and transphobe.
To my entering office... Here's
Charlie Ridley's every negativist in the book. So
imagine being every negativist in the book. Oof.
Includes focus on hiring people with severe intellectual and psychiatric disabilities.
Yeah,
that is
sure,
amazing.
Trump made up.
Oh,
So he's trying to say, hey, maybe this was because
we
of
know
DEI.
you're mentally ill.
We know you've lied over 32,000 times and you're a retard, so you know we're not buying your bullshit.
Well, you're
Maybe
literally
this is
dead.
because
You're
they decide-
literally dead without being puppeted by the dark side of the force.
You're literally Biden. Ah, ha, 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 ha.
Yep.
And that gets conservatives always mad, which makes it even more funnier.
Decided to hire people with severe intellectual and psychiatric disabilities. I mean, first of all, to state the obvious, you have to be like mosquito level IQ to think
Careful,
that the
Kyle, you're
hiring
offending
of
mosquitoes.
people with
that is offensive to
intellectual
mosquitoes.
disabilities, like they're putting them in situations where they directly control the air traffic, right? Like, is there anybody in the country who thinks, oh yeah, they looked for a guy with, an IQ of 48 and they said, sir, you control, the flights in and out. Like, no, obviously they're doing other jobs that don't have nearly as high stakes as part of the FAA. Like, it's just incredible he would come out and say something like that, basically trying to be like, oh, this is the fault of DEI practices. That's why we are where we are.
It's like you all blame DEI for the LA
so we also
fires,
have
'cause you're morons.
a reporter pushed him on that.
And deep down, you're
and
racist.
basically said, I'm trying to figure out how you can come to the conclusion that diversity had something to do with this crash. In other words, hey, man, there's no evidence of this. This is a really irresponsible thing to say at a moment like this. Trump responds,
Not surprised, Trump is a
because
moron.
I have common sense, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't.
Trump, you have no common sense whatsoever because you're a brain-dead retard. How about that one?
Yeah.
In other words, it's, quote, common sense to blame this horrible plane and helicopter crash.
Oh, and by the way, before this happened, he did an executive order on it. I remember now because Kyle didn't cover it. That DEI is over. Which is it, Trump? Either DEI is over or DEI is to blame for this. You can't say it's DEI's fault. We say it's over. Pick your damn mind. Make your damn mind up. Fucking moron.
On DEI.
That's cognitive dissonance for you.
Okay.
No, that's being
so
a conservative.
we also have, this is fascinating too, one of the reporters says to Trump, the implication that he's making is that this policy that you're talking about is new or that it comes from the Biden administration. That's demonstrably false. And then Trump tries to weasel at it. Who said that? Did you say that? And the guy says, it's been on the FAA's website since 2013. Why didn't you change that policy during your first administration? So even the thing Trump is trying to deflect with, to say, oh, this is the fault of DEI, this is the fault of their hiring practices, that policy has been in place since 2013 and has consistently stayed there. So even under his time in office, his first term, that didn't change. So first of all, the thing's not to blame anyway. Second of all, if you were to bring it up and blame it, okay, why didn't you change the policy when you were president?
Obama.
It's so desperate. It's so pathetic.
Which would probably bump his numbers up.
Blame the Kenyan.
To deflect and obfuscate and distract from the reality of the situation.
Show us
now, by
the
the
birth
way,
certificate.
what is the reality of the situation?
It's fake.
Get this.
We don't
Since
care
Trump
if
has
it's
come into
perfectly
office,
real. It's
he's already
fake because
taken
we say so. Because you're an inflow.
Show the long form.
a number of actions regarding airline safety.
Yeah, we're still going to say it's fake, and you're a Kenyan Muslim, and your wife is actually your husband.
So
and
the FAA administrator
and she's
quit on January 20th
and an
after Elon told him to
every
resign.
slur we can come up with.
Okay, that's strike one. Ready? We're short about 3,000 air traffic controllers.
Thank you, Trump, for doing that.
And Trump and Elon are attempting now to reduce that number even further, reduce the number of air traffic controllers even further. He's got this cockamamie idea where it's like, hey, if you submit a resignation, we'll pay you for the next 7 months. And there's this whole thing that they're trying to do now to reduce the number of government employees, including at the FAA. Okay, that's strike two.
So Trump caused
strike
it to
three,
happen, you dipshits.
Trump fired 100 FAA senior officials
As he will
since
do
he
with
got
everything
into
as
office.
part of Project 2025 to turn America into a fascist dictatorship.
As Kyle covered, and since Trump became president, he fired 100 FAA administrators. Again, his fault for causing this.
He gutted a key aviation safety committee, and of course, the FAA was part of this hiring freeze that they did. He's done a hiring freeze on air traffic controllers since he took office. So why is he desperately out there saying, blame DEI, blame diversity? He's doing it to try to deflect from the fact that his record on airline safety is abysmal. These people don't believe in government. They don't believe in government. As Ronald Reagan said, they want it to be small enough so they can drown it in the bathtub. Well, guess what? There are consequences to that
Government
belief.
helps people.
If you try to implement that philosophy, bad things happen.
Government is based.
This is one of those bad things.
Yep.
So he's trying to hide the fact
Small
that
government
his record
sucks ass.
on airline safety is
Exactly.
absolutely horrific.
Of course, they want
That's
the
what he's
biggest
doing.
government they can possibly
So these
can
policies
to even
need to change.
tell
Now,
you-
if he decided...
It's sort of if it's not ambiguous consent between a man and a woman of the same race, and even the woman part is questionable. In the missionary style, taking between with the lights off, taking between 2 to 6 minutes, and no, you cannot enjoy it. The purpose is appropriation only.
to come out and say, hey man, we had this horrible crash, we're going to go in a different direction when it comes to the FAA because apparently we need to beef it up. We're not going to cut it. We're going to grow it. We're going to make sure we fill this 3,000 air traffic controller shortage that we have. If he used this crash to come out and course correct, then I'd be out here saying, okay, that's great. That's responsible. It's adjusting in real time. Instead, he comes out and blames diversity and tries to hide from his own record on airline safety. This is pathetic. They are to blame for this because it's this ideology, it's this mentality that leads to crashes like this. And finally, I'll leave you with this. So, since the crash happened, Trump has blamed the crash on Barack Obama, Joe Biden, the Democratic Party, the 2020 election, and Pete Buttigieg.
Blaming Obama for this. He's been out of office for 8 years now.
Why Obama even a century after he died? It's because he's black, and therefore he's an influencer.
Again, guys, when you hear Trump say things, your only reaction is to just instant laugh because he's a fucking retard. Everything he says is a stupid thing.
So Pete decided to chime in. Of course, he was the transportation secretary of the previous administration. So Pete sees this and he responds, despicable. As families grieve, Trump should be leading, not lying. We put safety first, drove down close calls, grew air traffic control, and had 0 commercial airline crash fatalities out of millions of flights on our watch. President Trump now oversees the military and the FAA. One of his first acts was to fire and suspend some of the key personnel who helped keep our skies safe. Time for the president to show actual leadership and explain what he will do to prevent this from happening again.
He won't do anything because he's a moron.
He nailed his ass to the wall on that. He nailed his ass to the wall. No, bitch, you own this. You own this. You know you own this.
Trump,
You're like slash and burn approach to government.
How about that one?
It also applied to the FAA.
You are evil.
And there are consequences to that. It makes
makes
airlines less safe. That's the bottom line. Now, you could say, hey, man, this was just a freak accident, and maybe it wouldn't have mattered if we had more air traffic controllers and everybody was trained better, if we had an administrator at the FAA, etc. That's a fair opinion to have. But bottom line is, if you want to prevent this sort of stuff from happening more often in the future, there's no doubt you have to reverse course away from this anti-government insanity, and you have to beef up the FAA and airline safety. This is not fucking rocket science. It's not rocket science. But instead we have a coward.
Yeah, there's something else they want to get rid of. All sciences.
Deflect and obfuscate and blame diversity.
They believe that the Earth is a flat stationary disk in the water, in an expanse of water and with a firmament, and that all of science is a satanic lie.
Yep, and that's one thing conservatives always do, people. They always blame others for their fuck-ups because they can never take responsibility. Hey, remember you're the party that says, take responsibility? Take responsibility that you suck. Deal with it. So yeah, what you gotta say about Trump blaming the N-words and all that for a plane crash at D.C.?
Of course. Oh, guess what we found out recently? Literally within the last 12 hours, I just checked on ABC News, Australia. The helicopter was flying too high.
Oh my gosh. Unbelievable stupidity. So, are you ready now for the next topic?
Yep.
And that is elongated
Muskgrave is a Nazi terrorist. Oh, before we start, have you heard of the phrase Nazism is colonialism internalized, turned inward?
I think so.
Yeah. I think there's merit in that line.
Because they would love to do that. That's why they want to take over Greenland, Iceland, Canada, Mexico, and Panama, and all those places. Because they're evil.
Yeah, they will eventually want to take over every country on the planet and make literally everybody white.
Go back to Ancient History free, people, if you want to do that. But then again, you wouldn't even be able to load up the game because you don't know how to play. So, of course, the first thing I bring up, because I don't know if Kyle brings this up, because this was a few days ago, but, of course, at Trump's inauguration, Elon did the Nazi salute, which, no, don't deny, people. It's the Nazi salute. Just accept it. Stop making excuses. Salute. Yep, it's the salute. Accept it and stop making excuses. He's a Nazi. He's a Nazi. He's a Nazi. Do I need to bring up all times he spews anti-Semitic conspiracy theories? And how about
he does that every week?
And white genocide and white replacement theory bullshit? He's a Nazi.
The one.
That's the end of it.
Yeah.
You just accept it. So, deal with it. And now, because he's a fucking moron, and of course, I don't know if Kyle brought this up, but this is really funny. A few weeks ago, Elongated Muskgrave was exposed that he sucks at video games too. Did you hear about that from Asmongold?
Yes.
And then Elon got so triggered that he banned Asmongold off of Twitter for a bit.
Yeah, I remember that.
What a snowflake! Hey, Elon, don't blame us that you suck at video games and you have to pay people to play the games for you. How sad are you? Just like you're a sad idiot trying to pay a woman with a horse to get blown, or a handjob or whatever. You're just sad, and you deserve to be laughed at because you're a fucking moron, and a retard, and a Nazi like Trump. You're both equally stupid, and you deserve no respect from everyone. You deserve nothing but being laughed at. Fucking moron. So because Elongated Musgrave's a piece of shit, his approval rating has tanked, and it's hilarious. Let's watch Kyle.
Which is good to know.
So very rarely these days do we find a silver lining, but ladies and gentlemen, we just found a silver lining.
This is just yummy
for those
for our
of you
tummies.
who don't know, Elon Musk, and in fact, it's actually many of the high-profile billionaires, they found a way to garner tremendous public support.
For
no
no
long
reason.
Time, Bill Gates' approval rating was through the roof. It was probably over 60%. Others as well, other billionaires as well. And for a long time, Elon Musk, his approval rating was over 60%. He was, the American public looked on him fondly because when they looked at Elon Musk, they thought, hey, here's a guy who's a businessman, sort of a captain of industry, but the stuff he's doing has a cool and interesting effect. I like Tesla cars. I like the electric cars. I like SpaceX. I like Starlink internet, right? They just looked at what his name was associated with, and they thought, that's cool. I like it, so I guess I like him, right? And also, he was kind of behind the scenes. There would be these puff pieces written every now and then, because these guys, a lot of people don't know this, but all these billionaires ruthlessly work the media behind the scenes. They make connections, they schmooze, and they wine and they dine, and that's how you get these puff pieces written about you. Bill Gates did it. Elon Musk did it. But here's the problem. Elon Musk couldn't help himself. He couldn't stay sort of like semi-low-key behind the scenes, get people to say positive stuff about you, but largely shut the fuck up. He wanted to hop in front of the parade. He wanted to jump in front of every camera, right? In the process of doing that, he really outed himself. All of the fluff work that had been done by the media, and it all became very apparent very quickly. This guy is actually really weird. This guy is a total egomaniac and a narcissist.
He's a retard.
This guy takes credit for shit he shouldn't even take credit for. This guy overpromises and underdelivers.
He's a
this
sexual
guy
deviant.
Has genuine psychological...
And the neurodivergent community denounces him.
He's a predator. He's bad at video games.
Kind of clear to
Is
me,
every negativist in the book?
Maybe the people responsible for Tesla being cool are actually the engineers that work at Tesla. Maybe the people responsible for Starlink being cool are actually the engineers who work at Starlink.
And then there's
maybe
the Cybertruck.
It's actually regular workers who do the grunt work, who make something cool.
Sucks at making cars.
Which I saw like sometime after election day, driving down the road next to us.
He's just basically trying to take credit for anything and everything around.
Yeah, those if you are hit as a passenger by one of those Cybertrucks, you literally explode.
Hey, maybe those should be good cars to crush in Monster Jam.
That now
No,
is
they're
the
probably so shittily built that the metal, that whatever they're made out of, would just fly everywhere as soon as a monster truck would hit touches it.
Oh, it's right. Safety hazards. That made-up thing for
We have
monster
over
trucks.
60% approval rating. Look at this. New Associated Press poll. Ready? Elon Musk. Disapprove, 52%. Approve, 36%.
Yay! Now, how about we make that disapproval 100% and his approval 0?
Ladies and gentlemen,
That'll never happen,
Elon
but we
Musk's
can get it
approval
as high
rating
as possible.
And then we deport him and take all his money.
Joe Biden territory.
Exactly, that's what we need to do.
That's right. The guy who was president of the United States, who's about 412 years old, who couldn't get through an event without stumbling over his words or showing his age. Elon Musk is in Joe Biden territory. With his approval rate. I've never, ever
How old is he?
seen such a fall from
He's
grace.
only
The difference
53,
between Joe
dear
Biden
God.
and Elon Musk is Joe Biden
I mean, he's a moron and a predator. What do you expect?
he never had 62 or 65%
Yeah.
approval rating. You know, at his height, he was maybe 56%, 55, something like that, right? 54, that realm. Joe Biden never had an approval rating that high. All you had to do, Elon, was shut the fuck up.
But
And you'd
just like
still be at
Trump, he
60%
can't
approval
shut
rating.
his mouth.
Instead,
Of course, he doesn't know
Hop
how
on
to
the MAGA
shut the
bandwagon.
fuck up. He never
wanted
has
to-
and he never will.
you
And then
desperately
we're going
wanted
to
to be
laugh
loved.
at him.
You started showing everybody that
And he'll cry
your
like
mentality
a baby.
is that of a virgin
Here,
4chan
here's a
teenager who's
tampon
angry
for
at the
you.
world. You posted
From
relentlessly.
base
You
Chuckle
spread
Walls
misinformation
himself.
on a daily basis. Things that
After
are
all,
just
you turned
objectively
Twitter
incorrect.
into a Nazi
You fucking
infested
sig heiled
tampon,
on
remember?
Inauguration Day.
Yep.
Then you
remember
went.
that.
And then, of course, they're always jealous of my titles.
We haven't talked about this yet, but Elon
And
Musk
then they're going to be jealous of my
gave a
artwork I
speech.
drew.
What was the name of the German party? AfD, I believe. Basically, like a new Nazi party in Germany.
Oh yeah, another thing Elon gave Muskgrave did recently. He spoke at a conference for the Alternative for Deutschland, a neo-Nazi party in Germany. So again, people, he's a Nazi. That's the end of it. You just fucking accept it. That's the end of it. No more excuses. You fucking accept it.
He spoke at this, and he was like, "Oh, in Germany, we need to calm down. You're not at fault for the sins of your father and your grandfather and your great-grandfather. Stop apologizing for the past." What? You know, people in Germany,
I would argue that it's probably true that we are demonizing Germany and we should go after Japan like I covered months ago, but that doesn't mean we need to deny that
Because
Germany
remember that the Japanese Empire were basically the Shinto version of ISIS in World War II.
That they're somehow even worse than the Nazis, which is wild.
Like I said, they're not the Shinto Nazis. They're the Shinto version of ISIS.
I'm ashamed of being
which
German.
is saying something.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being German, but we have to also point out the past. And you guys were just evil in World War II.
Yeah, but also remember, at least part of that, we got to send some of the blame over to Austria.
And of course, we gotta also point out too, since this group never gets talked about, the Soviet Union for also starting World War II, since they always get away with it because Germany attacked them. Anarchy, can you please do your video on the Molotov-Ribbentrop Hackery? I've been waiting over a year for it. I want to see it.
These aren't even dog whistles. These are motherfucking foghorns. That's what they are. He's making it so clear. Between the double Sig Heil, him saying this shit. He was caught on Twitter responding to an outright white supremacist account where they were saying, Jews hate white people and they're trying to take us down. And he responds, you have said the actual truth.
Yeah,
because he hates Jews. And he spews white replacement conspiracy theories. Because he's a Nazi. You just accept it.
How Nazi he
It's
acts.
not debatable, people.
Because since he bent the knee to Netanyahu and said, I love Israel and Zionism, you're allowed to be however Nazi-ish you want to be, and they'll defend you. In fact,
I give a shit what a Zion-Nazi
over
says,
the fucking
too.
Sig Heil.
Exactly.
But everybody knows.
Netanyahu
Everybody
is a
can
Nazi
see it.
himself, too.
And so his fucking approval rating is plummeting.
He's
By the
even
way,
engaged in Holocaust revisionism.
this is even more heartening to me.
Jewish
Billionaires
supremacy.
advising the president. Bad, 60%. Good, 12%.
Also remember that I said that Modi's a Hindu Nazi, the Chechens are Islamic Nazis, Aung San Suu Kyi was a Buddhist Nazi.
Erdogan.
Erdogan's an Islamic Nazi too, creating the Neo-Ottoman Empire. Yep, they're Yep, they're pretty much Nazis in their own way, or at least fascists.
Trump.
Yep.
12% of the public says, yes, it's a good thing to have the billionaire advising the president. Guys, I can't stress this enough.
Imagine that conflict actually happening between Israel. Imagine Israel actually having to take on an actual army in the Neo-Ottoman Empire.
Big break from
you know
Turkey's
part of NATO, just so you know that, pal.
There's a lot of things.
God, that'd be so awkward.
Especially, you wouldn't be able to call us
Turkey's in NATO, but Israel's our colonialist ally.
Things they were wrong on. One of the things they were wrong about my whole life is that Americans sort of...
Oh, they'd be like, all right, we're gonna have... I wonder what they would actually, what the rest would actually do.
How about you play Asia History Free, people, and be good, unlike you?
I believe in this idea of meritocracy.
Yeah.
That, like, we live in a meritocracy, and the harder you work, the further you go. Everybody gets a fair shot. People believe that, and it's just not true. It's just false, right? And so... in the past, people would have said, oh, having a billionaire advise the president, that's good because billionaires are just really smart people who work really hard, so it's a good thing. It appears like that bubble has burst.
Because they're evil,
like Americans
and they must be taxed at 100%.
To the PR bullshit spread on us by billionaires. And it appears we're getting closer to the position
no billionaires tax
hey,
people.
maybe these billionaires are
Wouldn't
actually
that
just
be
robber
awesome?
barons.
All that money would take
Maybe
from
they
them.
don't deserve this amount of money. They don't deserve
No
this
one
amount of
works
power
that
and
hard,
control.
people.
They shouldn't have so much sway over the government. Maybe
they should have no sway.
They want to legislate on behalf of
Exactly.
their needs and wishes.
The rich need to
and
be
not
poor.
the American
Negative sway.
How about the rich need to be taxed to oblivion so they're poor and us peasants are actually wealthy? Then the lives would be so much better. How about that one?
We are now getting to that point. It is the first
because
fucking
we
week
make their money,
of the Trump
not
administration.
them.
And eyes are already opening, y'all. They're already opening. 36% approval rating for Elon Musk. 12%.
Now let's make it a 6% approval rating.
And by the way, Kyle didn't bring it up, but Trump's approval rating's already gone down by like 3 points in just 2 weeks, which is record speed because he sucks ass. Like,
and
we
this is at a
warned
time
you
when
all,
Trump was
he
making
sucks
a
ass.
show. Look, all the billionaires love me. All the robber barons are here on stage with me right now. Isn't that great? Look, I'm part of the club. I'm an elitist. Hooray, elitism, as long as it's me doing it. It's all backfiring. The house of cards is crumbling. It's crumbling. But I'm gonna need to go ahead and speed up that process a little bit more, dog. I'm gonna need everybody to wake up and wake up faster. I'm gonna need you to realize that these robber barons are exactly that. You know where they belong? They belong in jail.
They belong 6 feet under.
Originally, it was tax the rich. Then we all went, you know what?
Musgrave,
let's
get
graduate
back to
that.
South Africa and we take
arrest
all your
the robber
money.
barons. Then it's like, you know what? If we don't get this shit
South
squared away
Africa
quickly,
be like, please don't bring him back here. We don't want him.
That's the trajectory we're on. That's the trajectory we're on. And we need to break their power, break their stranglehold on this country, because they're the real ones who are in control. But now, I love it when reality starts crashing down, guys. You can outrun reality for a while,
How hard
and
is it
nobody's
people
better
to
at it than Trump.
understand that
He is
the rich are
admittedly the
evil?
best
We've
I've
been
ever
saying it
seen
for
in my
years,
life.
decades.
Somebody who's
'Cause
so
we're
good at
always
marketing
right,
and so
you're
good at
always
PR that he
wrong.
overrides the reality.
Yep, and that's just objective.
But eventually, in a long enough timeline, reality always wins. It's already happening with Elon Musk. It's already happening with the idea of billionaires being directly involved in our government. People see him, they see it, they hate it, and they hate him. They want nothing to do with any of this. And we need to be there to pick up the pieces after and let everybody know, hey, here's what we should really do. Here's what we should really do. So, a little bit of positive news there for you. It's few and far between, but this is real. This is real as a heart attack. Hey, y'all, do me a favor.
So what do you guys say about elongated Musgrave suffering because he's a moron?
Good, he deserves it.
Imagine being bad at video games and have to try and bribe women for sexual favors. How sad are you? At least we're good at video games and we're not sexual predators like you.
Exactly.
Stupid fucking morons. Speaking of
pretty much exactly.
And speaking of Karens, let's get to our next topic.
And that'll be Karen Christian's mad base bishop destroys Trump. Woohoo!
So, yeah, guys, the day after Trump got elected, he went to a church, and there was a base bishop that told him to be nice and all that, and such, which, you know, Trump can't do. And, oh my God, conservative Christians got so violently angry to the point where a whole bunch of them said we need to deport her.
Maybe we need to deport you. Maybe we need to deport Dump.
And maybe all you dipshits need to leave because us progressives don't like you. And most Americans don't like you either. So how about you leave? This woman's based. And that's coming from us atheists. How about that one? She sounds like Ayaka from My Blossoming Summer. Ooh. And God forbid they see all the dresses I drew of her. They'll probably be like, can we see her taking those off in front of us, please? Oh, wait, she's 14? Oh, we don't care. That's even better for us.
Remember, it's like 6 or 7. They want to reduce the age of consent to.
Wait, she's Japanese too? Even better. We don't believe consent for Japanese women, remember?
Blitz their head open.
Went pretty viral. Trump and Vance had to go to church as part of the, the procedure of getting back into the White House for him.
Man, you guys would be mad if I was ever president because I wouldn't be doing it because I don't buy your religious crap. How about that one?
And this bishop really sort of called out Trump directly to his face. And
it was glorious.
It is what it is, but did it with the message of Jesus. Like, hey, show mercy on people. People are scared. Show mercy. Because that's what a loving God would do.
That Christian's based, you done goofed.
We'll talk about the fallout in a second. But watch this clip. This is crazy.
Let me make one final plea, Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear for their lives.
Because of you.
And the people.
Exactly.
The people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meatpacking plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals.
Look at JD Vance this entire time.
So bad.
Trump is sort of sitting there and talking to JD Vance. It's like eye rolls and looking at his wife. Like, you believe this shit? Think about what she's saying. What she's saying is it's some real shit. She's like, hey, gay people, trans people, that like they're Democrats, they're Republicans, they're independents. Think about the immigrants who are not criminals by any stretch of the imagination.
No,
just
we
trying
want
to
to
do right
call
by
them
themselves
slurs.
and their families and make a decent life. And okay, I'll let it keep going.
They may not be citizens or have the proper documentation.
Look at Trump. Look at Trump.
But the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals.
That's a fact. And in fact, it's deeper than that. If you compare natural-born American citizens to both legal and illegal immigrants, natural-born American citizens commit more crimes.
Oh, but we don't like that fact.
That's just what the studies show.
They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away. And that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were all once strangers in this land.
Imagine if it was Ayaka saying this. They would call her a Jap.
May God grant us the strength and courage to honor the dignity of every human being, to speak the truth to one another in love, and walk humbly with each other and our God.
Also, imagine being triggered by this.
Good of all people in this nation and the world. Amen.
God, that got conservative so mad over nothing. Oh my goodness, because you're all Karens. God, Trump and Vance look so
again,
angry.
Look, let's be clear about this.
Exactly.
She goes
Stay
up there
fucking mad.
and she's just straight up like, here's the message of Jesus Christ. The Lord.
Guess what, conservative Christians? Liberal Christians exist too, and they don't agree with you,
Exactly.
and you're gonna deal
And
with it.
Right, they also outnumber you.
And guess what? You can't use the no grill Christian. How about that?
Yep. If
Lord our
anything,
God
they're more
in
the
Christianity.
they're
Here's the
more
message.
More like
they're more the fake Christians.
Show mercy
Go
to
to
people.
Russia and China if you
show
want to
love
practice
to
your
people,
barbaric practice.
protect
We don't
people,
do that in America, sir.
take care of
Exactly.
people. We were all
Russia and
strangers
China
in this
would
land
love
once.
you conservatives.
You know, like this is basic Christian 101 shit. You know, I was raised Catholic. I went to Catholic school. This is the shit
Like
they
we
teach
say
you.
before,
Like
you liberal and
literally,
conservative Christians cherry pick everything in the Bible. At least the liberals cherry pick the good stuff. You conservatives cherry pick the bad and evil stuff. So please win, liberals.
Exactly.
basic liberal human values and rights. You know, and in fact, I would argue if you're being more direct and more literal with the message of Jesus, Jesus was like a communist before communism existed.
Exactly.
He just was. You
In
know,
fact,
all the passages,
I
very
think Karl Marx
anti-wealthy,
is actually
very
I think
anti-rich
Karl
people.
Marx
You know, capital has a better chance of getting through an eye of the
mentioned
needle than a rich person.
that he would have that if he was at all religious, that Jesus would have been his inspiration. I can see that.
That'd be so funny. Just imagine I could tell him all this, and she'd be, and she's remember. Have you even read my Blossom Summer?
No, but I will. I got to get around to it.
You gotta read chapter 5. She goes on like a 20-minute rant, and she sounds like a Christian fundamentalist, but promotes progressive shit. Oh my god, so
Person
funny.
getting into heaven. I mean, there's and as kind could be to immigrants, as they called them in the Bible, the sojourners.
You're
supposed
must
to treat
be
the sojourners
God
like
commands
they're
it,
family members.
or you're bad
Right?
Christians.
And so again, this message is just, if I'm being honest, it is purely religious, this message. Purely religious. Taking the overarching theme of Jesus Christ in the New Testament, in the Bible, and saying, let's actually apply this. Let's apply this. Well, guess what? Guess what? There were a number of Republican Congress people who came out who were like, deport the bishop.
Boo-hoo!
You think I'm not kidding.
Fucking
A number of Republican Congress people
my
were like,
God,
deport
what
this bishop. How
snowflakes!
dare she?
That's all they know.
Think about what
Deporting
even
the
local
bishop.
Christianity,
Deport the
right-wing
bishop
Christianity.
because
Think
she
about what
accurately
that has
pointed out
become
that
in
you
this
guys
country.
Are evil.
Where a basic message
Yeah.
of love and acceptance and mercy is that you're supposed to be deported if you want to show people love and mercy like
Deport
Jesus Christ.
Christian liberals.
I mean, they may as well just
Deport
switch the
everyone
Bible
that
out to all the
isn't a
right-wing
Nazi
evangelical
terrorist.
Christians. You might as well just throw out the New Testament and replace it with Mein
You
Kampf.
do know the majority of
Because that's what you really
Christians
feel.
now in America
That's
are
what you
liberal,
really
right?
believe. Fucking racial hierarchy
Like when it
and
comes
hatred
to gay rights
and
abortion.
division.
How about
like
that
that's what you
one?
believe in. Just own it. Just own it. Just own it. Yes, if you want to go through the Old Testament in the Bible, for sure. It is vicious. It is dark. It is ugly. There are genocides. There's all sorts of crimes, including sex crimes. And yes, that part is ugly. But in theory, the idea is the New Testament comes along and Jesus' word is the final word. And obviously,
Conservative
Jesus,
Christians
in
hate
most
the
of
New
his moods,
Testament, though.
85% of the time,
Exactly.
he's all about love and acceptance. And you guys take one look at it and go, I fucking hate it. I want nothing to do with that at all.
Remember
Okay.
Conservative Pia wanted to remake their own Bible to get rid of all the liberal
Yeah,
stuff?
I remember that was all the good stuff, and just how about they want to about how murdering black people.
Then stop fucking
Joe.
calling yourselves Christians. Right? Stop calling yourselves Christians. I believe in Christianity,
never
but also
will.
everything in Christianity is incorrect.
Christian, even though they're more
You really
much
believe in
closer to
it?
Satan.
You really fucking believe in it? So,
And you idiots are why we're atheists, because you guys are monsters.
I mean, again,
Yeah.
she's embracing the overarching message of the New Testament. And here you have, look at J.D. Vance's face here, this little fucking pudge boy weasel. Look at Trump. Like, that was, by the way, that was brave. What that bishop did was brave. That was like, man, I'm going to go up there and spit fire and tell the truth regardless of who's in the crowd. That's what that was. That's what that was. And by the way, someone just made this point the other day. They were like, you know, we've gone way too far in this country when the Catholic Church is out there saying stuff like this. Because the Catholic Church, I mean, let's be honest, it was like a pedophile factory. You know, I mean, the scandals and the amount of money they had to pay out, and the amount of diddling of kids. I mean, it was fucking
Like I
regular. It was
said,
up there with Epstein. It was up there with
includes the reduction
Diddy.
of the age
Oh, by
of
the way, while we're
consent
talking
to
about Epstein,
6.
remember, Trump was best friends with Epstein for a decade, according to Epstein. from his own mouth, from his own lips. Now nobody talks about that on the right. Nobody bring up the thing that is they're all over the Epstein case until Trump's besties with him. I don't even know who Epstein is, bro. I don't even know what you're talking about. But this was brave. This was brave of her to do this. This is in a room full of people who are probably hostile to the message because it's filled with Republican hacks. It was brave. So anyway, as I pointed out to you guys a million times, in this new era, this is not 2016 Trump. This is Trump with no guardrails. This is Trump unchained. Yep. This is, I know there are no consequences for anything I say, for anything I do. Right? So now, guess what?
Meanwhile, if he did something like this in other countries like South Korea, he would have been impeached just like that. But of course, one party refuses to do their damn job.
I honestly and sincerely don't think in 2016 or 2017 Trump would have done this. Now, he's always been a bit unhinged, but this is next level. So he comes out and says the following, ready? The so-called bishop who spoke at the National Prayer Service on Tuesday morning was a radical left, hardline Trump hater. She brought her church into the world of politics in a very ungracious way.
Oh, yeah, dude, do you know that he's one of the snowflakiest snowflakes that ever snowflaked?
This is the guy you support, you morons. He is a Karen.
Really?
And he loves being a Karen because that's all he's got. How dare you encroach
on the field of politics? You have any idea how many super far-right evangelical Christian churches are out there that do nothing but speak politics 24/7, and you guys don't say a fucking word about taking away their tax-exempt status?
I want to talk to your manager. And then they walk in, and it's like, yeah, I'm the manager.
Or cracking down on them, or telling them to get out of the field of politics. As long as they're doing your talking points, then it's fine. But when you disagree with me and actually agree with Jesus, that's a problem. She brought her church into the world of politics in a very ungracious way. She was nasty in tone and not compelling or smart. She failed to mention the large number of illegal migrants that came into our country.
And not compelling or smart. Wow, you are such a snowflake, Trump. Shut up.
And kill people. Many were deposited for jail and mental institutions. He keeps saying this. I honestly think that when Trump hears, there's an immigrant who's looking for asylum, I think he thinks that means they left a mental institution. They left a mental asylm
where you belong,
and are
Trump.
coming here. I genuinely think that's what he thinks because he's been saying this for years. That they're sending their mental institutions. They're sending people from mental institutions. No, they're not. That's not a thing. The only thing that was ever close to that was when Cuba emptied their prisons under Fidel Castro and sent the prisons to the U.S. And then what did the Republicans do? They said, "We welcome you with open arms because you're leaving communist Cuba.
I remember
you're
that.
Right-wingers, and we love right-wingers. Even if you're criminals, if you step one foot on America, you're welcome." It is unbelievable. The fucking God, he's so stupid. They're not coming from jails or mental institutions. Again, he thinks asylum means they came from an insane asylum. Oh my God. It is a giant crime wave that is taking place in the USA. That's just
there is no crime wave, you idiots.
Statements. The service was a very boring and uninspiring.
There will be, but it's right-wingers trying to. It's right-wingers staging attacks, staging crimes to make it look like there's a crime wave, so they can send the army in and massacre black people.
Oh, and he cried that it was boring hearing that speech. Oh, boo-hoo. I thought it was pretty based hearing that. It was nice and enjoyable as an atheist just to see you guys get mad.
Good at her job. She and her church owe the public an apology.
Oh, my God.
This is pathetic. He's such a fucking man baby. So what did you want? What did you want? Did you want a bishop to get up there and say, I sure would like to see more tax cuts for the wealthy and corporations.
Yes,
I sure think you should let Elon Musk loot the treasury. I think you should build that wall, even though that's the exact opposite of the message in the New Testament. What did you want to see? Did you want? What he really wanted was a more boring service where they say nothing of substance at all. A letter from Mark to the Corinthians in 7:28, it says, like that. If he would just sat there and took a fucking nap, he'd be happy. But God forbid, you step into a church and you have somebody who sends a message of love and acceptance and mercy. God forbid. God forbid. No. We're against all of those things. We're in favor of vengeance and revenge and retribution.
Because that's
and
what
being
the right
massive,
are, violent,
giant,
evil.
gaping,
Violent
colossal
savages.
assholes. That's what we're in favor of.
And that's why they're weirdos.
Okay, well, we know where you stand.
People.
We know what you are. We know
Yep.
where you stand. We know what this
Every
administration is going to be.
accusation is a confession.
Oh, I got a big one that'll really get Trump and Trumpers mad. Are you ready for this?
Yeah?
I've put more work in drawing dresses for characters in My Blossom and Summer in the last 3 days than Trump has ever done any work in the last 10 years.
Yep.
You think they're gonna make that one?
We don't, hey.
And
Oh, yeah. Watch out. They'll do a mass shooting because of that.
do you think they're jealous of my work?
Extremely.
Can I pull up their skirts, please? They'll probably be like...
Homelessness shot up 18%. 770,000 homeless Americans now.
I
It's actually
wanna
probably more. That's a conservative number. We know you're not going to do shit about that. We know that. We know you're not going to do shit about homeless people. We know you're not going to do
Try
shit
debunk
about
code.
raising
They will
wages for
beat
regular
your
people.
shit.
We know you're not going to do shit about medical bills being the number one cause of bankruptcy or 26 million Americans being uninsured. We know you're not going to do shit about any of the actual real issues in this country. The corruption, you just put it on steroids. You signed an executive order which allowed for more corruption on day fucking one. So
He's a fucking moron.
The thing that always gets to me is, okay, if you guys want your politics to basically be give the wealthy all the money, do more war, and let's be assholes.
Go to Russia and China
To be
then.
your politics? Okay.
Yep.
But don't fucking wrap yourself in the Bible and the crucifix and
We don't
Jesus,
do this shit in
right?
America,
Just shut
pal.
the fuck up.
How about that?
Make clear that doesn't impede on your politics at all in the slightest. I wish the happy Christianity would do that, but it doesn't. So anyway, beefing with a bishop. It reminds me, maybe I should take back what I said before, because he probably would have done this in 2017, because what was it, in like 2018 or 2019, he was beefing with the Pope. Remember that? Who beefs with the Pope? Like, who does that?
Only
Oh my God.
conservative
Anyway,
Catholics are now crying about Francis now last
pathetic.
several years.
It's pathetic. That bishop
It's
is
amazing
very...
how we are being like more defensive of Francis than they are. And we're atheists.
Exactly.
Because you guys are
Exactly.
pathetic. He does like a few things that maybe could be progressive and you're crying about it. Oh my God, shut up. All right, so yeah, what do you got to say about that? What a bunch of snowflakes. Stupid idiots. Cry more. Liberal Christians exist, and they're going to always exist, and you're going to deal with it, you dumb fucks.
Yep.
Okay, now we're going to be laughing our ass off for the next one.
Yeah.
Rave Dubin supposedly is now going to announce his retirement, or at least he claims he would, because we brought this up before because this is too funny. So, for all of you who don't remember, back in 2020, after Biden won the election, and of course Rave Dubin was part of the idiots that denied that Trump lost not, he made a bold claim. He said that if Biden becomes president and he lasts a whole term and leaves, he will retire from doing his show and all that. He'll leave YouTube and everything. Well, of course, it's now been 11 days since Biden had his full term and he left. And he never left. And he didn't retire, as we all knew, because he was a
kept his
moron.
grift going.
But it was, of course, everyone's mocking him like crazy the last 2 weeks about this. So I figured, let's join in the fun, too. As this is a video Dylan Burns also watched today and took forever to find, too. So we all better enjoy it because this was pain to find. Let's watch Rave Dubin make a fool of himself and also start off with his claim back in 2020. So here we go for a laugh.
A bold statement. Michael, I'm going to make a bold statement today. Bold statement. Here we go. If Joe Biden is sworn in on January 20th, 2021,
which he was,
and he completes a 4-year term,
and he did,
actually completes a 4-year term,
he did,
I will retire. I will retire at the end of that term. That will be it. I will
Okay, it's been 11 days. Where are you at, Ruben? Why aren't you retired yet?
disappear in just over 4 years. 4 years and about a month and a half. That'll be it. That's how convinced. I will just disappear from public life altogether.
You will disappear from public life. You will delete all of your accounts.
And then you'll never hear from me again. That's how convinced I am that it ain't going to happen. He
did,
will not be president for 4 years. He either won't be president at all, because of the election fraud and all
There is no election fraud, dipshit. Biden legitimately won, so get over it.
that kind of stuff. Which, by the way, is gaining momentum. We're not even really covering it.
There
that
was
much
no
today, but
momentum, you moron.
It's actually gaining momentum, and Giuliani was at a hearing in Arizona today.
Giuliani is
They
a
found
retard.
some really bizarre stuff.
Yeah.
These
fraud stuff.
Too busy sexually harassing his assistants. Remember when we covered it?
Yep.
Night, 1 a.m.
Also, remember that's not uncommon, because remember they had to
conservative.
fire Bill O'Reilly after it came to light that he had sexually harassed literally every single female worker at Fox News. Not joking.
Because that's all conservative old men are. They can't control themselves.
Yeah.
I think in Pennsylvania, Rand Paul was tweeting about it this morning. I mean, there's just some stuff going on, but I do not think that
There
one
is
way or
no
another
stuff,
Joe
Ray
Biden will not be
Dubin.
president
Biden
for 4
won.
years. Anyway,
So with
Shut
that in
up.
mind, I want to set a couple ground rules for how we're going to do this show. Rule number 4, I won't be a partisan hack.
oh, now we're equal. You call me whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like you could call me
Well,
a
and that's
fag
what it
right
feels
now.
like
It
to
wouldn't
me.
mean anything to me. I think
He wouldn't
it's-
care
it
if someone
sounds
called him
crazy,
faggot,
but Trump's
he
going to
said.
get 30% of the black
Well,
vote,
that's
and
probably
they know
what he's
it.
called every day.
He said that Trump would get 30% of the black vote. Nope.
That's why they're freaking out. People are saying, well, Sidney Powell is obviously insane. She's a conspiracy theorist and blah, blah, blah. Now, I still just don't buy that. I don't buy that this woman is just lighting herself on fire and has gone completely crazy. I suspect that she has some of the evidence that she's talking about, and she's going to try to lay it out in court.
The fact that Giuliani's leading this thing, this guy wins. He knows how to win. He knows how to fight. We talked about
Other than sexually harassing women.
the mafia
knows
thing
how
already.
to
Like, he
lose.
knows how to do this thing.
Shapiro, will you bake Ruben a wedding cake? So the answer is no.
No.
I do not
Okay.
participate in activities that I believe are sinful.
If we were having
Rave Dubin, imagine defending Ben Shapiro being a homophobe right to your face.
an anniversary party, would you come?
He just
You know, honestly, I'd
hates
have to
you.
think about it.
He hates
I'd have
you.
to think about it.
Dude,
In the
if
same
the
way-
camera wasn't on, Ben Shapiro would have attacked you physically, physically tried to kill you.
Like Ruben, when Benny Boy says stuff, you condemn him.
While
End
yelling the
discussion.
F slur every single time with every single punch.
But hey, he says he's okay with being called a faggot, remember?
Yeah,
That's
because
interesting to me.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
different thing.
Well,
Yeah. He'd probably love to be called other slurs as well.
Entering
Candace Owens probably loves being called the hard R N-word.
authoritarian future because, as I've said to you before, authoritarians love authoritarianism.
So, the word demon is in demonetized.
So first off, I want to just say something. Sam and
Demon
I
rat.
were friends for many
Yeah.
years. I'm not really sure if we're friends anymore, to be quite honest with you. And Sam just unfollowed me.
Wow, he's
So I
crying
can't call
that Sam
myself
Harris didn't want to talk to him anymore.
Yeah.
a friend of Sam anymore. I would say we were former friends because he refused to be friends with people who saw the world a little bit differently. I went up to Sam. I said, Sam, I know there's been some weirdness here. Hey, who cares about politics? We've broken bread many times. You've been to our house many times. All the stuff. And he just would not give me an inch, I've gone off the deep end. Everyone that I know has gone off the deep end. Most of the people that that I'm associated with, everyone's a right-wing maniac, and Trump's crazy, and blah, 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 all of this stuff. So we have not heard back from Caitlyn Jenner yet. We have reached out across all
I'm
possible
surprised you didn't
channels.
call her Bruce.
Please do respond to our people because we've reached out through all the proper channels. We have repeatedly on this show reached out through all the proper channels to her team. We haven't heard back. We've tried on every proper front behind the scenes, and I've done it publicly. I guess we'll give it another day or two for someone to just respond. By the way, I reached out to Andrew Yang first thing this morning about 4 hours ago privately.
Maybe this
Didn't hear
shows
back.
that
He could be very
you're
busy. He's
irrelevant,
running for
Ray Dubin.
mayor of New York City right now. We also reached out to his press team, and we didn't hear back. Okay. Let's see. Happy birthday, Dave. Keep doing what you're doing. Love your show. Will you go on Joe Rogan's podcast? And will you have Libertarian presidential VP candidate on your show before the election? Will I go on Rogan's podcast? I asked him, and our PR people asked him about a bajillion times to go on for my book. We did not get a response as far as I know, so I don't know what happened there. It's a little weird for me to say that publicly.
Because you're sad
I don't know
and
what
a
happened.
loser.
Yep, and he can't wait to divorce his husband.
will I,
and
come
out as
more
ex-gay
nonsense
like Molly
from the New York
York
Times. They also
Steve.
got the name of the show wrong. They called it the Dave Rubin Show. I suspect I'm not going to get an apology or a retraction on either. She also got the name of the show.
Got it so wrong now.
She called it the Dave Rubin Show.
we couldn't get a retraction or a correction or anything because these people aren't journalists. They're just human jokes that show up on these shows.
Dave Rubin is the host of the Dave Rubin Show. We're happy to have him.
Right, it's like Taylor Swift, you are a young, pretty girl. Do you know what the gang members from Venezuela do to young, pretty girls?
Oh, getting pretty racist.
By the way, some people did come up to me and say, I'm praying for you. And I don't know if they meant that I'm praying for you, meaning I'm trying to pray the gay away, or I'm just praying like your continued success or whatever.
And I have to say that my brain is still in recovery mode from taking in so many high-level
mode from all these ideas.
If the dial of ideas was turned to low for the last few
my brain is in perpetual recovery mode from taking in so many stupid ideas.
I agree with that.
It's quickly moving into the hot position. The dial is moving because the conversations we're having here are finally starting to leak out into the rest of the world.
I like talking about ideas. That's what I like talking about.
David, that sounds ridiculous.
He loves talking about stupidity. Why stupid?
God, I wish I remember the guy that radio announced his name, but his name won't come to my head. But told him that he was ridiculous. What he's saying. So that was an awesome retirement announcement video of him. So hey, Rafe Dubin, Biden became president, and he served a full term. So. You heard? You got to keep up your part. You got to delete your channel. You got to delete everything. You got to shut up forever, pal. You
everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows that you're.
If you didn't block me on Twitter, I would tell you right to your face.
Yep, and then probably go about towards you, but towards you, ending and saying something that would get him banned.
Maybe you need to tell him that.
Since
I can't do it.
I don't post anything on my Twitter account because it's basically just sitting there picking others.
So yeah, we're still waiting, Rafe Dubin. You gotta retire like you said you would. Fuck, that's what happens when you say dumb stuff. So yeah, that was hilarious. Now, on to the next topic.
Oh, and I think that's our second last one. Last one. Trump supporters getting fucked up by Trump.
Well, we warned you all not to vote for that dipshit, and now you fucked around. Now you're gonna find out.
You're gonna find out.
And sorry, like I told you last time, am I gonna feel any sympathy for you? No. And that's your fault. So let's watch Mike
Fuck around, find out.
Yep, let's watch Mike cover these idiots. And remember, this is all your fault, and this could be the same thing for the entire 4 years. We're gonna laugh and blame you because this is all your fault. You had an option, you vote for Kamala, but you wouldn't do it. So fuck around, find out.
This is so crazy that we voted for Trump.
Yeah, it is crazy to vote for Trump. Maybe you shouldn't have.
Word that he promised us Latinos. This is crazy that starting next week, multiple cities will be hitting immigration. That is so crazy that multiple people are scared to go to work.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't have voted for him then. How about that one?
I hate that I voted for him.
Yeah, you deserve to be mocked for voting for him.
I'm so scared for my family and your family. Yo, we need to.
You deserve everything that's coming for you.
I only feel sympathy for people who don't deserve it, who didn't vote for him. Sorry.
That TikTok was posted by Myra Aluna, and as you saw, she was in tears after realizing that she got exactly what she voted for. And in case you were wondering, no, I'm not the one who posted that sappy music. She is the one who added that music, I think, because she was hoping people would feel sympathy for her. But I think most people are going to feel sorry for her family because they didn't get a say.
Do you feel sorry for them?
Yep. In fact, I laugh at them because they're evil.
The only ones that should be sorry are me.
They deserve it.
The only people you should be sorry for is me.
The matter, and they're the ones.
You should be sorry for me if my dad dies because Trump tries to make a medication too expensive.
And so are presumably going to be affected by this. But it begs the question, what did she expect?
Medicines to $1 trillion.
Because Trump ran on mass deportation. His supporters at the RNC literally held signs
building gas chambers in Guantanamo Bay
that read mass deportation in bold red and white letters. So how are you shocked when it was the cornerstone of his campaign? And some commenters actually asked her that question. Here's her response.
It doesn't matter who you voted for. They both was full of shit of presidents. no matter what, people can go through politics. I don't want to go down that route with y'all because I don't have time for the negativity like that. Because
okay,
my
then cry
people
more
are
then,
going through
Karen.
the
Deal with it.
situation, not y'all. So y'all can go whatever y'all want to say. I don't care. God bless you. We're
Okay,
supposed
you're a
to be
Karen
here
cunt,
for one
and
another.
you deserve what
Lift
happens
each
to you.
other.
Sorry.
You deserve it. You
What's
deserve
wrong with
everything
y'all?
and more.
Sick.
So she was pretty defensive, as you saw, because she felt like people were trying to kick her while she was down, when she was pretty much expecting sympathy. So I think that the backlash surprised her. I think she also anticipated that this would go viral as well.
I'll kick you down as hard as possible.
And that'll be your fault.
But, you know, after she engaged with more comments and a few TikToks later, it actually seems like this moment has genuinely radicalized her in a positive way. She later admitted that voting for Trump was a mistake and she regrets it. But since she can't take it back, you know, she's going to focus her efforts on fighting for the people in her community. Upon further reflection, she also apologized for her vote and the way that it's affecting her family as well as other people's families. And she even made a post doubting the legitimacy of religion after presumably being overtly religious.
Now you don't have faith in religion anymore? Oh my goodness. Wow. That sounds a little bit almost like grifting territory now. That seems a little too quick there.
Yep.
But hey, whatever floats your boat then, I guess.
That original TikTok. And she then posted this clip from a live stream explaining why she made that video in the first place.
My purpose to make that video is to see what can we come together and make this. What can we do? What can we like get out of this to help one another? Because I made a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes in life. Everybody. I'm gonna pay attention more.
Great. You know, it
if you're gonna pay attention, may this be a reminder. Don't ever vote for Republicans ever again.
Been nice if you paid attention before the election, but hey, better late.
You should have paid attention before.
By their bullshit.
We told you all for years, don't ever vote for Republicans. They're evil. Don't ever support them. So may this be a permanent reminder for you, like Bush was for me and my fellow millennials.
Than never, I guess, right?
Exactly.
But even though it's so incredibly frustrating that she voted the way that she did, I do think it's important that we have grace for people like her, especially after they own up to their mistakes. What matters the most...
we sort of can.
Mike, it's going to be difficult for us to have sympathy. Like we've already
told you. As I said, FAFO.
Yep,
find out, fuck around, find out.
Is that we use this opportunity to better inform people and try to foster class solidarity among people like Myra, who realize that she made a mistake. So we have to connect the dots for them and try to bring them over to our side. And I get it. It's frustrating because so many people don't come to this type of realization until one of his policies affects them personally.
Yeah,
but
why can't you all see what we've seen for years? How is it so hard when it was so easy for us?
We've got to try to meet people where they are and get them to be more empathetic so that way they don't realize the pain and suffering that they cause, you know, until it's too late. But right now, Myra is genuinely hurting because she's scared for her family, and I would be too if I were her. In another TikTok, she actually revealed that her grandfather texted his goodbyes to her in case ICE raided his work, which is genuinely heartbreaking, and I sincerely hope that her family is safe. But unfortunately, their safety is not guaranteed.
How about that?
Nobody's safety is guaranteed. And the best that we can all do is try to prepare and educate people about how to protect themselves. And on that note, I do want to link you to this ACLU page with resources and scripts in English and Spanish in the event ICE shows up to question you. And just know that if an ICE agent questions you, you don't have to say anything. You do have the right to remain silent. And if they ask to search you, you can demand that they get a warrant. And if you're not a citizen and you have papers, carry them with you at all times, but know that you're only required to show them to immigration agents and not local police. And whatever you do, don't sign anything. And if you are a citizen and you see ICE, TikTokers like Ariana Jasmine are encouraging people to yell La Migra to warn immigrants in the vicinity that ICE has showed up. I think that priority number one is getting this basic information out to people, and we have to treat ICE like the modern day Gestapo that they are. But getting back to Myra, what matters to me is that she's now trying to right her wrong. And I think it's far more than you can say about other people who have buyer's remorse about voting for Donald Trump, like the lady we're about to talk about now, who voted for him 3 times. But after seeing him in his first...
you vote for him all 3 times, huh? Well, you're going to make it even more difficult for us to feel sympathy for you. Okay, then let's hear this excuse.
She now wants to flee the country. I'm not not joking about this. So Reddit user Miracle King shared this exchange with his mom on Reddit. She texted her son saying,
Russia and China.
I'm afraid for this nation and I kind of want out of here. We're an embarrassment. Now her son responded saying, I know Kamala ran a shit campaign, but literally everybody not a Republican said this was going to happen. Trump is already following the Project 2025 handbook and things like rescinding census orders to redraw election maps. And on that note, by the way,
Trump did say all this stuff. You just refused to believe it, which we warned you all. But
her son is absolutely correct. Trump did rescind a Biden-era order which reversed a move from Trump's first term to exclude undocumented immigrants from census data, all in an effort to give blue states less seats after maps are redrawn again. And on top of that, an analysis by Time found that 2/3 of Trump's executive actions so far have either partially or fully mirrored proposals in Project 2025. But back to his mom, because she responded to him saying, can we move to Iceland, Finland, Italy, Spain? She later...
Why do you want to go to two Nordic countries that are actually based in how us progressives want? So you want to go to countries that you claim to be against their values and that we want their values here. Don't you see how silly you sound?
Says, pretty sure I want to move to Iceland. Her son then responds, letting her know, not Greenland, since Trump wants to invade them, to which she responds, I'm at a loss right now. No matter what, it's all far too stressful. Yeah, it is stressful. Sounds like your son tried to warn you about that, but you didn't want to listen.
You should have voted for Kamala, dumbass.
Of this lady to vote for Trump and then want to flee the country to leave the...
Or at the very least, if you can't stand Kamala or Democrats or whatever, then either don't vote or vote for third party, whatever, but never vote for Republicans ever.
The rest of us with her mess to clean up. Fuck you. Okay? You made the bed for all of us. Now you should be forced to lie in it too.
You fuck around, you
and
find out.
Myra is trying to help people affected by her vote. But this lady just wants to cut and run, which is so fucking selfish,
don't come back.
but also so very on brand for Americans. Now, with that being said, I'm still glad that she at least realized that she fucked up.
Like conservatives always do. They always run away from their fuck-ups.
At a minimum, because the overwhelming majority of Trump voters right now, they're still...
Run away forever.
Run to Russia and China, please, and don't come back. And then you can enjoy your Nazism.
Heading high, they still support him, and they're still holding out faith that he won't implement policies that hurt them specifically. And I say this because CNN actually talked to Trump-supporting educators in Kentucky who are bracing for budget cuts after Trump announced that he wants to abolish the Department of Education, which would directly fuck them over. And, you know, here's what they had to say about the situation.
1/3 of all of Bell County, Kentucky school district funding in 2021 came from federal sources. So this district is listening.
Oh, look, red states being moochers and lazy. How about that one? Why am I not surprised?
As incoming President Donald Trump pledges this.
One other thing I'll be doing very early in the administration is closing up the Department of Education in Washington, D.C., and sending all education and education work and needs back to the states.
He looks and sounds like
exactly
a brain-dead
that means
like
for a
Biden
state
people.
like Kentucky is unclear. Trump won this state. In Bell County, 84% voted for Trump, yet it deeply relies on federal funding. And that's not unusual. A CNN analysis found the 15 states that most rely on federal funding for its public schools in 2022 all voted for Trump.
And I voted for President Trump.
I mean, you're an educator. You didn't vote for Trump eliminating federal funds.
No.
Here.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did vote for that.
I did not vote for that.
Yeah, you
I voted
did.
for President Trump to make America first again.
He makes America last, you stupid Karen. Oh my God, she even looks like a Karen too. She looks like the Karen intensifies meme. Oh my God! Oh no, she looks like Karen intensifies meme.
Our lives.
Do you believe that he would cut funding for this county?
Oh no!
Say in my heart, absolutely not. I do not think that's what the voters want. If we have...
yeah, you do, because you all voted for that dipshit. If you didn't want that, then you don't vote for him, period.
Have federal cuts.
Exactly.
Then that's going to mean bigger classroom sizes. I would lose teachers, first and foremost. It's devastating for this school in particular.
Guess what? That's the fucking goal. For years, the Republican Party has been open about wanting to defund public education in order to further privatize it. When they push for school voucher programs, they are deliberately pulling money out of public schools to put them into private schools. You voted for that. But she wasn't the only one.
His superintendent is still doing multiple jobs, taking on paying invoices and answering the district's phones just so he can save money on administrative help. and send more money to his classrooms.
I don't think that anyone in our county wants to cut our school funding. I don't think that anyone voted for that.
Do you mind if I ask who you voted for in the election?
I voted for Donald Trump, and I voted against Amendment 2.
Amendment
you guys voted for it because you voted for Trump, so shut the fuck up.
2, so-called school choice, would have allowed Kentucky tax dollars to go to non-public schools. But it failed overwhelmingly in Kentucky, even though President Trump supports the policy.
Well, it looks like you effectively voted for Amendment 2 anyway, since
most
you
things
voted
private suck.
For Donald Trump. And what's so aggravating is how people in red states who predominantly vote for Donald Trump, they're actually going to be worse off than most people in the country because of his policies.
Yep, and you all will still fervently deny at all cost. Because you're
Red
all
states
stupid.
just don't have enough revenue for things like education and disaster relief.
Because us blue states always bail you out because we're rich and you're poor. Maybe if you start, doing progressive policies like we did, you'll be better off. But you have to drop all your right-wing bullshit.
And they rely on federal funding, a sizable share of which comes from blue states, by the way, that they hate, to supplement their state budgets. So if you remove the federal government from the equation, the implications are literally disastrous. I mean, if you abolish FEMA, for example, which Trump said he wants to do, southern states that are frequently hit with hurricanes and tornadoes are going to be shit out of luck if that happens. And those people do not deserve to suffer because of the state that they happen to live in.
Even better than most of Australia, which is...
Oh, doesn't it feel good to be a based Mailander as I twist my nipples like in South Park?
Americans should have the same standard of living, regardless of which state they're in. They should have the same health care, the same education. But after these red states voted for Donald Trump, his gift to them is basically a giant middle finger in the form of austerity. Why? Because he wants to use that money that he's taking from them, or that he could be using on them, to pay for tax cuts for the oligarchs who got him elected. You see, because if you cut education and disaster relief, and maybe even Social Security, you'll be able to put all that money towards things that he really cares about, like tax cuts for the rich. In other words, regular people who supported him will be worse off in 4 years, and some of his most diehard supporters are going to be worse off than his...
And then you fucking retards are going to vote for whoever replaces Trump in 2020 because you're a bunch of fucking
vote for Republicans always because they hate themselves. And they just hope that they get shot in the head by a Nazi.
Because here's the reality. Everything you conservatives believe are all a fucking lie. Everything is not debatable. You're wrong. We're right. You're better off under progressive policies and Democrats. It's not debatable. You accept it and you shut up.
Regular supporters, even if they don't realize it, since he takes advantage of their loyalty. For example, we talked about the Trump coin thing last week. Well, here's what one Reddit user posted. Organic Versimile 47 posted a screenshot of somebody who basically went all in on Trump's meme coin and is now worried about losing everything. So they shared a screenshot.
Imagine being duped by Bitcoin and all that, you stupid fucks. That's why you never get involved with it, you dumbasses.
Which says 1.2 million DJT inauguration, YOLO, this may ruin my life. And it turned out he was absolutely correct because he followed up saying, I think this will crash on Tuesday. I wanted to sell, but I got caught holding the bag on Friday. Please tell me, am I fucked? Then we got another update. I've lost $700,000. What the fuck do I do? I'm desperate and hopeless. Holy shit. This is awful. My life is over. I can't sell at this point. I need to make it back. I feel sick to my...
Again, you fucked around, find out. Hope you enjoy that $700,000 loss. Sorry. That's your fault.
You deserve it.
Yep, that's your fault. That's what happens if you support Trump and do everything he does. You never support him, period.
Stomach, I have a major problem. I can't stop myself. I'm on a slow-moving train to hell. Sorry, Grandpa. And finally, this is partially debt. I will be bankrupt and lose my house if this goes wrong. My kids will not have a place to live, and if my wife finds out, she will probably divorce me.
Gee, maybe it's... I feel sorry for your kids, and oh, boo-hoo, your wife might divorce you. Maybe you shouldn't have done it then,
well, maybe you deserve to be divorced.
So he went from, this could ruin my life, LOL, YOLO, to help. It's ruining my life, and my wife might leave me if she finds out.
Maybe she's smart, unlike you.
What do you even
then
say?
Again, she married you.
I think she should
maybe
leave
she's
you.
not that smart.
I feel terrible for that man's family. It sounds like he's taking them for granted and needs to get help and just fuck them over. I mean, Trump has a history of being a con man. Ask anyone who attended Trump University how that went for them. So, to normal people, they see a project involving both Trump and crypto, and they see the biggest red flags ever. But this person, who presumably supports Donald Trump, they're like, actually, that sounds kind of legit to me. Maybe I could make some money from it. The goal wasn't for you to make money. The goal was for him to make money. And now you're coping and seething after getting scammed.
And you're still going to support
I don't even know what to tell you, right? Of course, it was a scam. Nothing Trump is doing should surprise anyone at this point. This man has been in politics now for nearly 10 years.
And that's why we're going to be
Nothing
anti-Trump
he does
central.
should surprise anyone.
Exactly.
If you
the
want,
resistance is here.
Yep. We're actual resistance, unlike TYT and mainstream media, all they were back in the first time and all that. If you want to see us, if you want to see people destroy Trump every 2 weeks, you're at the right place, people. We're gonna make fun of him for the next 4 years. Welcome in for the enjoyment.
The history of being a scam artist, and when it comes to policy, he ran on all of the things he's doing now, with the exception of annexing Greenland and Canada. So if you're surprised about that, I can.
Yeah, and also bring up. I want you idiot Trumpsters to tell us how is your life better if he invades allies for imperialism? There is none. That's right. That's the end of
I'll
it.
give you an exemption there. But
And of course, just like all the last several weeks on Twitter, every time he keeps threatening about it, you all fervently support him because you're never going to change because you're stupid.
for everything else, I mean, he's doing what he said he was going to do. So I just don't understand how so many people are suddenly surprised by what they're seeing. But getting
why do you not see that we've seen for years and you fervently deny it, and even when Trump does it, you still deny it, or you actually end up supporting it all of a sudden?
back to policy more specifically, I guess it doesn't actually matter that Trump...
When us on the left say something, we're right. When Trumpsters and conservatives say stuff, they're always wrong. Everything they say is always a lie.
Even if there's a nugget of truth, the amount of twisting they've done, has made it false.
Is doing what he said he was going to do because people don't seem to notice until it's too late, or until it personally affects them. For example, CNN spoke with people who voted for Donald Trump, and most of them were happy with it, but one person in particular was a little bit sketched out that he's now doing things that he said he was going to do that are anti-democratic. For example, here's what a voter from Philadelphia named Linda Rooney said in response to Trump's first week in office. Quote, "On one hand, I am glad he is cleaning up the mess Biden left, both domestically and foreign," said Rooney, who runs a consulting business in the Philadelphia suburb of media. "But I wish he would use more discernment. Not all of the January 6th people should have been pardoned."
Kyle didn't bring it up, of course. Trump pardoned all the January 6th protesters, and none of them should have.
It was an attack on our democracy and on our elected leadership. I was optimistically hopeful after the election, but I feel like he is a bull in the china shop, Rooney said in a text exchange, or that he's using a sledgehammer where finer instruments are called for. Still, she is mostly in sync with Trump promises to cut taxes and reduce regulations. Yeah, see, the problem is that, when you vote for a politician because you like one of the policies, you get all the other policies that come with it too. And I think that Linda is illustrative of the infinite wisdom of the American swing voter. She voted for Donald Trump in 2016, then in 2020 she voted for Biden, and then in 2024 she voted for Donald Trump again, and I'm assuming by 2028 she'll flip once again and vote for a Democrat. But now, after voting for Donald Trump, she's like, oh, well, gee willikers, I sure...
They're brainwashed by corporate media who's now all in on Trump.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Trumpsters, how about the fact that mainstream media fervently supports Trump and you all lie saying that they're all, far left right because you're morons? I'm going to tell you this right now, Trumpsters. There's only 3 valid things you vote for. You either vote for the Democrat, you stay home, or vote for third party. That's it. Trump and Republicans, you never, ever support them.
I do wish that he didn't pardon those insurrections.
Ever vote for her.
They are evil, they are treasonous, and they belong in Russia and China, but not here.
It's like he said he was going to do, but I do love he's promising, tax cuts and deregulation. Linda.
Oh, yeah, and if you want lower tax and deregulation, vote for the Democrats because they're right-wing economically, unlike us, which we don't want. They'll do what you want. So how about that one?
Linda, oh my God, Linda. I need you to listen very carefully to me. He's not cutting your taxes. He's cutting taxes for rich people.
Yours up to 100%.
And unless your consulting business makes more than $300,000 per year, you're not going to be affected by that positively. In fact, you're probably going to have to pay more. And unless you're a corporation looking to boost profits, you shouldn't be happy about deregulation because those regulations were put in place to protect people like you. And what I hate is that the media treats these people, these swing voters, like oracles of knowledge every time there's an election when they are the dumbest fucking people in the entire country in actuality. But we're not done yet, because you know how a lot of us were warning Trump supporters that he had dictatorial ambitions, and you know how the Republican Party would do everything that they could to embolden his dictatorial ambitions and help him consolidate power. And then Trump supporters said we were being hysterical and lying. Well, apparently some conservatives, you know, they're realizing, maybe they were right, maybe they had a point. And I say this because Republican Andy Ogles proposed amending the 22nd.
Oh yeah. Okay, if you didn't hear this, there's some idiot Republican thing in Tennessee that's actually trying to propose an amendment to allow Trump to run for third term already.
Of course.
And of course, the funny thing is, he wrote it in a way that would prevent Obama from running for a re-election. It was written.
Of course.
It was written.
Yeah, something like Enslavers can't.
Yeah, he wrote in a way that only presidents that were elected, then got kicked out, and then came back can run for another term and all that. Guys, well, first off, yeah, he can't do this. They're never going to get enough votes to do that and all that, but you don't do this, period. End of discussion. Just like Idaho Republicans are trying to ban gay marriage again and take it to the Supreme Court and all that, and other states are
I don't think they'd just be wanting to ban same-sex marriage. They'll probably be wanting to ban interracial as well.
Yep. And of course, other states are trying to bring it to the Supreme Court to ban abortion everywhere. Which, by the way, us and Marylanders, we just 74% legalize abortion anytime we want. We are not going to do it ever, and you can fuck off, and we will shoot you if you try and stop us. Do you make yourself clear? Abortion's allowed in our state, and you're going to deal with it.
Second Amendment to allow presidents to serve 3 terms so long as they're non-consecutive, which would conveniently disqualify Obama from running for a 3rd term too. But
like, guys, people on the left don't advocate this. Like Obama when he was president, Obama is the biggest figure in the Democratic Party. We never advocated changing the Constitution to allow him to run for a 3rd term and all that, even though it would have stopped Trump if he was able to. We don't advocate that.
Yes, Obama would have beaten Trump.
We know limits, unlike you. Once you hit 2 terms, you're done. You guys don't believe in rules and regulation and laws and all that. You are dictators. You are violent, evil authoritarians. So when someone and if a Democrat supported this, allowing Obama to run for 3rd term, they would have instantly been kicked out of the Democratic Party. All you Republicans, kick this fucker out now. All the Republicans in Idaho that voted to try and get rid of gay marriage, every one of them, instant impeached. Get rid of them. End discussion.
Here's how Redditors in the conservative subreddit responded to that proposal. Nonsensical. Do we really want presidents for life like Russia and elsewhere? Trump will be 82 by the end of his term. It will be time to turn it over to Vance or someone else who is younger. No, this I can't get behind. Remember when everyone on the left was crying about how Trump was going to become this fascist dictator and do things like change term limits, and we all laughed and called it fear-mongering? Why the hell would someone even propose this?
Because they're dictators.
Yeah, I wonder. Good Lord, stop giving Democrats the threat to democracy bait they want. No, they don't want it. I don't think they want it, buddy. Last one. I hope Trump publicly shuts this down. Embarrassing.
No, Trump's already been joking about.
He never will.
Trump's already began joking recently because Kyle covered about. I would be happy to run for be president for 1, 2, or 3 or 4 terms and whatever.
Oh, and Trump shut it down all right. He shut it down by joking about serving 3 or maybe even 4 terms at a rally on Saturday.
It is.
It is the greatest honor of my life to serve not once but twice, or 3 times or 4 times.
I don't care if he's joking or not. You don't say this. End discussion.
Exactly.
You just don't.
Don't say that, you fascist dictator.
Like Trump. You conservatives need to realize, if you guys stopped saying this, if Trump stopped saying this from the very start, a lot of people on the left wouldn't be so fearful and hatred of him. If he stopped doing a lot of the things we hated, he wouldn't be hated. But you guys like it, and you're trying to, and the only reason you support Trump, of course, is to piss off libs as always. Headlines. Bush was a horrible president. I still say the worst president ever. Nope, the left us on the left were not this incredibly hatred-filled of him. He was a moron. He did not say he was going to run for
it'll take time to restore chaos. That'll take time to put the food on the children. That's just cool.
Now it will be to serve twice,
Just kidding, teehee. I don't actually want to serve more than 2 terms, although the crowd was cheering when I brought it up, and the Supreme Court could theoretically interpret the 22nd Amendment to mean that presidents can't serve more than 2 consecutive terms. So yeah, I should probably be quiet and not give them any ideas, by the way. And look, it's not
then I'll put Vance in power and have him be my puppet. Then
the
I'll
first
run
time that he
winning,
joked about this,
and I'll be in.
But
and I'll just do that with
come on,
exactly like
what are we doing here?
Putin
He tried
did.
to overturn the last election, so when he says something like this, I don't think it should be interpreted as a joke, even if he explicitly.
Oh yeah, remember he denied the 2020 election in January 6th? Like, you guys gotta realize what he did was just unacceptable. End discussion. Anyone who's decent, when Trump did that, you instantly never support him ever again.
He says it's a joke because we're talking about Donald Trump.
If Bernie ever did anything like Trump did, I would never support him again, even if I agree with him on the policies. How about that one? I have standards. You guys don't.
He is liable to change his position on anything if it benefits him. But in conclusion, I just want to be clear that
if he was around,
all the people that we talked about in today's video, they are outliers. And while you may enjoy the schadenfreude to a degree, the reality is that these anecdotes are not representative of most Trump supporters. In fact, Trump's approval rating is at 47%, which is at an all-time high. And even though Americans disapprove of some of
recently, now it's down to 45%.
Of his actions, like pardoning January 6th insurrectionists, they still largely approve of Donald Trump overall. But after enough time, once the tariffs and austerity impact people,
which, by the way, Trump says he's going to do the 25% tariff on Mexico and Canada, which would start tomorrow.
Well, directly, a lot more people will probably sour on
He probably wants to do infinity% on China.
Donald Trump, right? Even if he did nothing, I'd argue his approval rating is still probably going to go down with time as things continue to get worse, which they will. So the honeymoon phase isn't going to last forever, and as more and more people wake up and realize that their faces were eaten by leopards after they voted for the leopards eating people's faces party, we're going to have to try to do our best to get them to see how they were duped. And we're going to have to try to foster class solidarity among these future ex-Trump supporters, because if people can actually see the game that's being played and realize that they were duped by propaganda, and we're all susceptible to being duped by propaganda, you know, we are just going to be better off as a country that way. If we could get them to realize that the fear-mongering about DEI and immigrants and trans people was all a ruse to distract them while the elites robbed them blind, I think we might be able to stop people from voting against their...
Our policies help everyone, even you conservatives. And they make America and capitalism better, which you claim to like.
Exactly.
That's why you support the left. And only the left.
Own self-interest in the future. Not all of them, because people are...
Let's actually make America great again by becoming progressives. How about we steal their? How about we steal Trump's title, MAGA, and make them really mad?
Still gonna do that forever, but
good.
we can stop more people from making the mistake that they made this time if they're even open, like people like Myra, to have, you know, this conversation with others. But I think we have to try to get some of these people who are dense as fuck to realize that they have more in common with every immigrant and every trans person and person of color than they do with any rich person. And their lives aren't going to suddenly get better if the lives of trans people and immigrants get worse. All working class voters around the world share the same exact destiny. It's us versus the wealthy. And if we don't get them to see that and realize that this is a class war that's being waged, then this country really is doomed. So our project over the next 4 years is to get people to see the light. Somehow, if it's possible.
They're never going to see the light, but hey, we'll enjoy mocking the crap out of them. So yeah, what do you guys say about that? Stupid Trumpsters fucked around and find out.
Yep. Hey, they're going to be saying that a hell of a lot over the next 4 years.
Yep.
They'll
be all
of
your
course,
dipshits.
They deserve it. The corporate Democrats deserve it as well. Everything's coming to them as well. I'm halfway towards them too.
And of course, I have to suffer along with them for no reason.
I know, yeah.
Fucking idiots. But yeah, guys, don't ever vote for conservatives ever again. They're bad. They're evil. They make America worse. Only vote for the left, because we're based. So yeah, with that, guys, we've gone through all the topics. So see you all next time for episode 122.
See you then.